12 championships. A six-time Coach of the Year, he was inducted into both the Suffolk County and Ed Romance Hall of Fames. On September 20th of this year, the field at West Islip High School Stadium would be named in his honor. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in honoring Honorary Captain Mr. Wayne Shire.
Hello and happy Friday to all of you out there, wherever you are and whenever you may be listening. Tonight's WKMC TV broadcast is sponsored by MRK Realty Student Housing and features a Pennsylvania Heartland Athletic Conference Division III matchup between the Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes and the visiting Bloomsburg Panthers in this week's PCN Game of the Week. My name's Jimmy Lesko. I got Dan Lesko beside me, and tonight we've got Jose Gonzalo in the booth as well, and together we're coming to you live from the Jazz Diminick Field at the Silverbowl in Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania, where the Red Tornadoes have an opportunity to claim the Pennsylvania Heartland Athletic Conference Division III crown. Now tonight, we got a little bit early start here, so we've got coin toss occurred thus far. For the Red Tornadoes, they sent out, as they have most of the season, number 4, Logan Wills, 26, Nick Troutman, 44, Jack Chapman, and 67, senior Brian Shurock, along with co-captain for the night, honorary captain Wayne Shire. We'll talk about him a little bit later in the broadcast. A lot of cool stuff going on here at the stadium tonight. For the Panthers, sent out the quarterback, number 6, Jack Howe, number 88, Hawk, 65, McGinley, and number 30, Cade Klinger. We'll talk about all those gentlemen a lot tonight. The Panthers won the toss and elected to receive. So the Red Tornadoes, specifically the aforementioned number 44, Jack Chapman, he'll be kicking 2. We'll try to get some jersey numbers here as early as we can. Looks like 88 Hawk and 28 Xavier Russell King for the Panthers. And just like that, we are underway here at the Silverbowl. Chapman's kick is deep to Xavier King at the 8. Go off the right side, try to find some space and catch that corner. He's slowed up initially by number 34 Bendis before being driven out of bounds around the 26-yard line.
Yeah, Jim, it looked like Jack Chapman there kind of finally pushing him out of bounds there. And as we see Bloomsburg offense take the field here, we'll talk real quick, Jim, about the keys to the game for the Panthers tonight. So the first thing they need to do is continue momentum. They need to create big plays. And the best defense is a ball control offense. So we'll kind of touch on those as we go along here, Jim.
They'll come out in the shotgun, Howell. And he's going to throw it right away. He's got number 30, Cade Klinger, to the right side, and Klinger's dropped out of bounds by 26, Troutman, and there's an early flag on the far side of the field. So the play initially ends at about the 28-yard line, so for a gain of 2, but we'll see how the flag is called.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was there. It looked like it came slightly after the play, so we'll have to see what's going to happen with this one, Jim.
It is going to be against the Red Tornadoes. The early indication does show that at least. We'll see, but Dan, you mentioned big plays, and the Panthers will look for it through the air. Howell threw for 4 touchdowns last week in a win against Hughesville.
Yeah, and that was a big win, Jim, and that's where I wanted to kind of talk about them continuing their momentum. Looked like it was a 15-yard personal foul there, Jim.
Yeah, that's what it'll be. We walked off out to the 42-yard line, so quick start for the Panthers, courtesy of the Red Tornado infraction.
But again, continuing momentum. Big 42-6 win last week. They're coming out quick, kind of easy first down for them. They didn't even have to work for it.
Howell takes the snap, and he'll hand it off to number 24, Gage Klinger, and now he's got some space on the left side. He stops and he cuts back across the field. He's across the 40 to 35. He'll be dropped at the 33-yard line in the Red Tornadoes. Big run there by number 24, Gage Klinger.
Yeah, Jim, that's another thing. That was sort of a little a jet sweep backdoor reverse there. They got to create big plays as they've done so far.
And the Panthers will be on the ball already. Howell will go to the sideline to get the play. He'll bring it back, and he's giving it specifically to his skill players. You see 88 Hawk. 23 is Nasir Hurd, 24 Klinger, 28 Xavier Russell King, and number 3 Daniel Gazevich. We're going to get an early timeout here by the Panthers with 11:32 left in this one.
Boy, guys, look like they just picked up just where they left off last week. If you read any of the papers, Howell set personal records last week with a 207-yard passing game and 4 touchdowns, and he's obviously trying to go back to where he came from.
Yeah, he's definitely looking to spread the ball around again. You know, he goes to Hawk a lot. Hawk is his big number 88 receiver there. I think they have him listed at 6'2", correct? 6'1", pretty decent size tight end type receiver.
Yep, 6'1", 185 out of Hawk. And yeah, Jose, the touchdowns last week, in a lot of the same way we've seen out of the Red Tornadoes, went to 4 different guys. So a lot of the ball being spread around by both offenses, albeit in a little bit different ways. Now look at this for the Panthers. They're going to come out with a
trips
to the right, 2 off the line, and it's a pistol formation for Howell. He brings Klinger in to get a big crackback block before they give it to Cade Klinger in the backfield, and he'll be dropped for a loss by number 21, Reed Witkowski, who we'll talk about quite often tonight for that Red Tornado defense.
Yeah, that's a really nice job of Reed getting in there, kind of knifing through the middle of the defense there and being able to. Dowkus did a really good job. Got to give credit to Damon Dowkus. He took that big crackback block on the end there and was able to fight it off and stay with the line of scrimmage and push that ball back.
Be 3-yard loss on that one, 2nd and 13 from the 36. Howell in the gun now. His trips are to the left. He's going to go straight back, and he's under pressure immediately, and that's going to be Dowkus who throws him down in the backfield. Down at the 40-yard line, it'll be a loss of 4. Big sack by number 29, Damon Dowkus.
Yeah, Jim, is just as quickly as the Panthers get going there, they start to get slowed down here. The Red Tornado defense, after reeling a little bit after the penalty and the big run play, are fighting back and starting to move the Panthers in the right direction for the Red Tornadoes. Wrong direction for Bloomsburg.
Yeah, Coach Fry took the timeout on the Panther sideline to regroup, and it seems thus far to have benefited the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah.
3rd and 17 now. Howell in the gun. He's got 2 to the right, 2 to the left. And he's just going to throw a quick little fade route to Hawk, and he misses him. He throws it out of bounds. But again, he's under a lot of pressure, and that's going to bring up 4th and 17 from the 40.
Yeah, Jim, one of the things that I've seen Bloomsburg do on their at least watching their film, is they try and get the ball into the hands of their skill guys pretty quickly, and it looks like that's what Howell's going to have to do tonight, because he's not going to have a whole lot of time to set himself back there in the pocket.
So we'll see. It's kind of an interesting predicament the Panthers find themselves in. Again, 4th and 17 is by no means an easy one, but you're also not often going to punt from the opponent's 40. So Howell will be out there. He'll bring Klinger in motion again. And he's going to throw a quick inside slant, and he had Hawk, but it falls incomplete. It hit him in the hands. Tough catch would have been, and a lot of red jerseys there. But regardless, it's going to result in a Red Tornado 1st and 10 going the other way.
Yeah, and the last key there that I talked about for Bloomsburg was the best offense or the best defense is a ball control offense. This Red Tornadoes offense has been stout throughout the last 2 weeks, and a 2-minute drive is not exactly what the Panthers were looking for.
10:07 left in the first quarter. The Red Tornadoes will take it. Their offense takes the field for the first time again. 1st and 10 from their own 40. The Red Tornadoes operate out of a shotgun double wing. This is going to be a handoff to senior tailback Shane Widener. He'll get about a yard, bring up 2nd and 9.
And Jim, it looks like those Panthers are really selling out to stop the run. They're loading that box up, so may have to spread things out to open things up. But with the Red Tornadoes on the ball here, we'll go to their keys to the game real quick here. The Red Tornadoes, they need to keep putting pressure on defenses, remain balanced offensively, and they can't take plays off. And we'll touch on that throughout this drive.
And same look for the Red Tornadoes. This time Reisinger sends Widener in motion. He's going to pitch it to him, and Widener, that is, does a nice job of picking his lane. He gets up across the 44. They'll give him the 45. So it'll bring up 3rd and 5 for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, that was a nice little cut by Widener there, getting upfield like you said, but good flow to the ball there from the Panthers defense. They did a really good job of kind of getting outside. But when I talk about staying balanced offensively for the Red Tornadoes, I don't mean 50-50 run pass. I mean, they need to continue to be able to run the ball up the middle, run the ball outside, and sprinkle in a few passes here, because that's how they've been successful over these past 2 weeks.
3rd and 10, Reisinger takes a snap, and it's going to be handoff to Burkowski in that inside Sally play, and he picks his way, and he fights hard, and he's going to pick up a 1st down. So great effort there by number 10, Noah Burkowski, to pick up that 1st down into Panther territory. 1st and 10, Red Tornadoes at the 47.
Yeah, Jim, we talk about Noah Burkowski a lot about being that quick scat back, but he was able to really keep his shoulders down and just fight forward and kind of power through the defense there to pick up that 1st down.
Burkowski and the previously mentioned Daukus are in that H-back slot. Now Reisinger's going to throw it after the play fake. He's looking for Chapman, and he's got him open, and he's going to be interfered with. And the flags are coming from all over. Hawk was on good coverage, but he got there just a little bit before the ball did. So nice effort there by the Red Tornadoes, trying to spread that defense out a little bit, Dan.
Yeah, and this is, you know, this is exactly what I talked about, kind of staying balanced. You know, you run the ball 3 plays, get a first down, then you want to come out on 1st and 10 and try and hit them over the top. If they're going to keep bringing all those guys up to that line of scrimmage, all 11 of the Panther defenders are pretty close to the line of scrimmage. So Coach Dyer is going to have to do something to open them up.
That'll be a 15-yard penalty. So 1st and 10 for the Red Tornadoes. That'll bring them all the way down to the 32. So just as quickly as the Panthers had flirted with the Red Tornado 30, the Red Tornadoes now return the favor.
Yeah, and that, as I talked about, their other key, keeping pushing pressure on defense. They're doing it right here.
This one a handoff to Widener, and he's dropped in the backfield. A nice play by number 65, William McGinley, for the Panthers. Again, one of the captains is the senior leader on that defense, and we'll certainly hear more from that young man tonight. 6'3", 230 pounds, Dan.
Yeah, Jim, it looked like he came from a defensive tackle spot there. That's where, you know, usually we have the pulling guards, pulling tackles coming from. It looked like he kind of just came through a vacated hole and got into the backfield quickly.
Again, very tight formation here, and Reisinger's going to throw it again. He rolls to his left, and he's looking for Wills, and he had Wills. It's going to fall incomplete. It's going to bring up 3rd and 13 for the Red Tornadoes. Now, Wills has kind of seen somewhat of an offensive outburst over the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
He's now the Red Tornadoes' 2nd leading receiver in terms of yards. 12 catches for 200 yards and a pair of touchdowns.
Yeah, you're right. And although he has been breaking out over the past few weeks, defenses still tend to forget about him as they did there. He kind of released, and I don't know if the defense thought he was coming out the block, but they kind of just let him get behind him. But he just wasn't able to pull that one in.
Wills occupies one of those tight end spots. Number 44, Chapman, occupies the other, and Reisinger is going to look for Damon Daukus out of the backfield on that, and it's a completion, but it'll be well short of the 1st down. Make 4th down a little bit more manageable here down to the 30. So that's going to bring up about a 4th and 8.
Yeah, Jim, it's just as you talked about Bloomsburg down on the other side of the field, you know, in one of those situations. 4th and 8 is not normally a let's go for it 4th down, but at this point in the field, you're kind of forced to go for it. So we'll see what Coach Dara has dialed up here to kind of convert this 4th down play. I know he's got some tricks up his sleeve.
So again, you look at that Bloomsburg defense, they're all within about 6 yards of the ball, and Reisinger's going to take the snap and roll those right. He's looking for anybody to throw to. Now he's going to see if he has to run, and he's going to be thrown down. A huge play by number 65, William McGinley, for the Panthers, and that'll be 1st and 10. Panthers going the other way from their own 37-yard line. So again, Dan, 2 possessions, 2 turnover on downs.
Yeah, and Jim, two very nice plays on that defensive series by William McGinley, but that right there, Jim, that's a coverage sack. You got a guy rolling out. Reisinger rolled basically all the way to the sideline, so he had plenty of time, but the coverage downfield was there, and it looked like Reisinger was trying to get Wills to move away, and as he went to go back across the field, he wasn't able to do it.
So Howe back in the gun. He brings Klinger in motion yet again. He's going to take the snap, and he's looking to his right immediately. Now he's under pressure from Daukus again, and he's going to throw it in the direction of nobody in particular. Miscommunication there between Howell and Hawk. And again, it's nothing here. 7:08 left in the 1st quarter at the Silverbowl. You're watching PCN's Game of the Week. Remember, PCN's bringing you key matchups from across Pennsylvania all season with the high school football Game of the Week. Every Friday, you can watch the whole game live on cable and stream with PCN Select. Go to PCNTV.com for the schedule.
That broke Mount Carmel's 9 consecutive possessions with a touchdown that we had last week, and first one, so we got that over with.
Yeah.
Now Howe, he's going to throw it across the middle, and he's got number 82 that time. That's Devin Yoakum, and the ball's going to pop out at the end, but he was ruled down, and seemingly rightfully so, but it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Panthers, and they're back in Red Tornado territory yet again.
Yeah, and Jim, it looks like this offensive scheme that the Panthers are running, they're really trying to do everything that they can to get guys in Howell's kind of line of sight as he's rolling out, and keep him moving with that pocket, because if he goes back and sets, he's not going to have any time.
And they'll keep sending Hawk out by himself. He'll be the lone receiver to the left here. But Howell's going to take it, and he's going to hand it off to Klinger. Does a nice job. That's Gage Klinger. And now he's in the open field. A big run there by number 24, Gage Klinger. Does a nice job of avoiding the tackler in the backfield, picking up a first down and more all the way down to the 26-yard line for a gain of 21.
Yeah, able to run through a whole lot of arm tackles there, and just, you know, he's not a big guy, so he's having a. Red Tornadoes seem to be having a hard time just even getting a hand on him with all the misdirection going on in the backfield.
Yeah, and Coach Dara seemed to notice that as well, as he's going to take the first time out of the half for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, and I think this is a good move by Coach Dara. You know, this is the first time we've actually, in the past few weeks, that we've seen any offense really with any sort of success against that stout Red Tornado defense. So, good. I think this is a good decision. Kind of take time out, regroup a little bit. Kind of, it looked like Coach Dara going out there to the huddle was kind of telling these guys, wake up. And that's sometimes that's what you need as defense.
So far, guys, Bloomsburg 65 yards in total offense.
Goodness.
Early in the first quarter. Mount Carmel with 7.
Yeah, they're moving the ball, and they're moving it quick.
So we'll see what the Panthers dial up. Again, this will be 5 wide, right?
Crown set.
Howell's 3 out to the left, 2 to the right, and he's going to roll out to his left, and he's going to flick it to Klinger again, and Klinger not going to break those arm tackles that time. A nice job. Reed Wachowski first one on scene. Mikowski and Chapman finish it off. We'll see where they mark it. They'll give him forward progress, so it'll be no gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, got to give credit to Klinger there just for pulling that one in. The throw was behind him, and if he didn't make that catch, I think it would have been Reed Wachowski or Jack Chapman pulling that ball in and going the other way. But you said, Jim, that they seem to be scheming their plays to kind of help Howell just get moving, get out of the pocket, and find his receivers.
Russell King and Hawk to the right. Now Klinger's going to join them, and Howell's going to throw it across the middle to Russell King, that is, and now he's making a couple guys miss. He'll be down near the 10-yard line at the 12. So a nice play there, gain of 15 from Howell to Russell King, and the Panthers are in business.
Yeah, and the Panthers just, I think it's tough for the Red Tornadoes as well, because we have not seen a whole lot of teams that will go 5 wide and spread everything out and just throw the ball and just continue to put it in the air. So really the Red Tornado defensive backs are kind of getting tested early here.
And they're going to continue to test them as Howell will be in that pistol formation with Klinger behind him. 2 receivers to his right. Now he brings Hurd across the formation, but it'll be handoff to Klinger up the middle. And not much there. Number 72, Colin Hurd will drop him right at the 10 after a gain of 2.
Yeah, Jim, we talk about it sometimes. A lot of teams scheme to spread things out, especially with this tough Red Tornado front 7 with that defensive line and those linebackers. Really the front 9 probably, if you include those safeties in run support. But Panthers are trying to just spread us out and find the open holes in the middle.
And they'll continue to do so. Dan Hurd will come in motion again. This time they're going to hand it to him, and he's got nowhere to go. Dalkus does a great job over there setting the edge and making the tackle for a loss of 4.
Yeah, Dalkus is doing a really nice job. He's working hard over on that defensive end, because these Panthers, they want to go outside. They want to get Howell outside the pocket when he's rolling out. They want to get their skill guys in space, which is what they normally scheme to do. You know, I talked about them getting Howell moving out of the pocket, but they also want to get these skill guys the ball with a lot of chance to get up to speed and make some things happen. And Dalkus doing a great job setting that edge, not really letting anybody beat him on the outside.
This time they'll come out with trips to the left, and it looks like Hawk, Russell King, and Gazevich. And Howell's going to be under pressure. He throws it in the middle of the field, and he had Gazevich, but it'll fall incomplete, so that's going to bring up 4th down. But there's a flag on the far side of the field, so we'll wait and see what the call is.
Yeah, we'll have to see what we got here, because that was a big stop for the Red Tornadoes here.
Now, Howell was moving forward, so there's a part of me that wonders if he got to the line of scrimmage or not.
That's possible. Hopefully it's not going to go against the Red Tornadoes here, because that would be a big big momentum shifter.
Going to be an illegal procedure penalty against the Panthers, and the Red Tornadoes will decline it to bring up 4th down.
And again, that big time that didn't go against the Red Tornadoes there, because, you know, we're able to get pressure on Howe, force him into making a bad throw, thankfully, because, as you said, he did have Gazevich kind of running free over the middle.
So 4th and 12 from the 14, biggest play of the night so far on either side. We'll see Howell has 2 receivers to his right, three to his left, and he's going to throw, and he throws it. He had Hawk. The play was there, but the ball was early. It'll fall incomplete harmlessly to the turf, and the Red Tornadoes will take over on down for the 2nd time early on in this one. 3:46 left
And Jim,
in a scoreless ball game.
As you said, he had Hawk, you know, kind of coming out of his break, but he had to get that ball out early. And again, that's a credit to that Red Tornado defense, kind of just getting that pass rush in there and continuing to hit Howell every time he drops back to pass, kind of maybe giving him a little bit of happy feet and making him throw that ball a little before he wanted to.
Again, the Red Tornadoes back out in their shotgun double wing. That's Reisinger in the gun with Widener to his left. He takes the snap. He's going to hand it to Widener. Widener picks his way. He fights hard, keeps his legs pumping across the 20, out to the 22 for a gain of about 7.
Yeah, nice little run there by Widener, because, again, this Panthers defense is just all piled in the middle. I'm curious to see if the Red Tornadoes aren't able to get a score on this drive. Coach Dyer decides that he wants to open them up at some point.
They'll stay tight, and it'll be Widener again. And he continues the fight, and he's carrying tacklers, and you can't bring him down up there, guys, and he's going to get him all the way out to the 44-yard line, a gain of 22, and the Red Tornadoes picking up their the second first down of the night.
Great run there by Widener. As you said, Jim, you can't tackle him up high there. And you saw it at some point after being carried for 3-4 yards, they just started to rip at the ball because they couldn't bring him down.
1st and 10, Burkowski in motion, and it's going to be a play action this time. And Rice looks, and he throws a rifle to Wills, and Wills makes the catch. So great job, great hand-eye coordination over there. He'll be very close to the first down. They'll mark him about a yard short, 2nd and 1.
Yeah, very nice catch there by Wills, as you said, because I wasn't able to catch exactly who the defender was heading over to the sideline there, but they were going all out trying to get that interception. And kind of sold out for it, and Reisinger was able to sneak it in there and let Wills pull that one in.
Now we're going to get an official's timeout here, and we'll see what's going to happen. I'm going to send a couple Panthers to the sideline as it is. Are we going to get back on the ball? Little conversation here.
Yeah, maybe a jersey issue or of some sort. It looks like that's usually been the case throughout the season. You know, jerseys not tucked in or things of that nature.
And we'll get the ball moving again here, or the clock that is. 2nd and 1 from the 47. Reisinger fakes the pitch to Widener, and Reisinger will pick up the first down. Couple more yards out across the 45 to the 43. A nice gain of 5 there. Hard fought 5, Dan.
Yeah, definitely a hard fought 5. We talk about it all the time, Jim. This is one of those plays that, you know, you're not expecting to get huge yardage out of it. It's nice if it breaks, but usually that's just a kind of change of pace play.
The handoff to Burkowski. Burkowski can't get outside. He's thrown down by 82 Devin Yoakum. A big play, a loss of see, about 6, but there is a flag out there. So we'll see what that flag's about. If looked like he might have been, Burkowski might have been brought down by the face mask, so we'll see. And that's what it'll be. And they call, again, because of the drag and the twist, they called the personal foul face mask. So that's going to be 15 and a first down. So a nice little break there for the Red Tornadoes.
Definitely a nice break for the Red Tornadoes there, Jim. And you see, you know, it looks, although the penalty negated the nice play, the Panthers are doing a really good job again moving to the ball, and they're closing those cutback lanes that the Red Tornado backs normally find.
This is a handoff to Widener. Widener's got a cut back lane there, and he takes it, and he makes another nice move. He's down across the 15, inside the 15, that is. Mark him down right at the 13, so he had a lot of the heavies, the big heavies, Dan, down there with him. You see 75, Matt Kelly, 72, Colin Erb. Who else we got?
Daukus was out in front there with Burkowski as well. These guys, and I love seeing these running backs out in front blocking for each other, because, you know, it's tough sometimes to share carries. But you got two very talented backs back there, both seniors, both deserving of the carries, and it's hard sometimes to share them, but they don't care. They get out there and do it for each other.
And they're going to hand it off to Burkowski on the inside handoff. You see that play quite often tonight, with a lot of success typically, and we'll get 6 out of that one, down inside the 10 to the, right around the 8-yard line.
Yeah, Jim, we keep talking about this this Red Tornado offense, how it's been very, very stout throughout the past 2 weeks. They need to be able to punctuate this drive.
And Widener's going to try to do just that. It'll be a little bit short still. The quick hitter, Widener, will see exactly where they mark him down. It's about the 2-yard line. So it'll be 1st and goal now. 1st and goal from the 2, and with 43 seconds left in the first quarter. That clock is running, so the Red Tornadoes will try to punch one in here before the end of the first.
So now what a difficult task for the Panthers. There's so many weapons on the offensive side of the ball to stop.
And Widener, and he stood up and stopped, so a terrific play by the Panther defense there. I see number 3 Gisevich, 30 Klinger in there as well. And I mean, they stood him right up. So we'll see how the Red Tornadoes want to handle the end of the first quarter. There's 13 seconds and counting. Reisinger's going to come out, and they're going to send in number 24, Julian Steller. Steller, he's going to take the snap, and we got a flag. So the Red Tornadoes had the play drawn up. We got a flag. It's going to be an offsides penalty against the Panthers.
Yeah, and it looked like they're just trying to get a head start there, Jim. You know, when you're down this close to the end zone, any push helps on the defensive side of the ball. So just trying to time that snap up, and we're just a little early.
So they're going to wind the clock, and that's going to do it here at the Silverbowl. So at the end of the first quarter, the Red Tornadoes of Mount Carmel and the Panthers of Bloomsburg are locked in a scoreless contest. We'll be back in 60 seconds with the second quarter.
Shamokin is leading Cipollini 7-0 in the first quarter. Milton 7, South Williamsburg 0 in the first. Southern Columbia 14, Montour 0 first quarter. Pottsville 13, Blue Mountain 0 first quarter. Lewisburg 7, Central Columbia 0 in the first quarter. Berwick leading Dallas 6-0 in the first quarter. Line Mountain 7, Tri-Valley 0 second quarter. Lake Schuylkill 26, Lehighton 0 first quarter. Nativity 13, Bristol 0 first quarter. Williams Valley 19, Halifax 0 first quarter. And Wellsock is leading the Warrior Run 10-0 in the first quarter.
So we're back here at the Silverbowl. We've changed end zones. Luckily, you didn't change channels. Jose, what do you have for us after the end of one?
Mount Carmel, 12 carries, 67 yards, 2 of 3 passing for 9 total offense, 76. Bloomsburg, 36 on the ground, 32 in the air, 68 yards. Pretty balanced.
And Steller is going to try to go up over the top, and he's in. So that's something you don't always see at the high school level. But Julian Steller in there at the quarterback position will take that snap, and he will dive over the top for the Red Tornadoes. First score of the night. It's another 2 yards. So, Jose, I'm not super great at math, but we'll make that 13 for 69 and a score.
There you go.
And, Jim, that Steller, probably the only guy on the offensive side of the ball that I would expect that out of. He kind of goes out there, and him and his cousin Reed, when they're on the field, they're a little whacked out, but did a really nice job there getting up over the top and into the end zone.
And it's a good snap and a good hold and a good kick. And so again, after the first score of the ball game, 4 seconds into the second quarter, the Red Tornadoes are out to a 7-0 lead, courtesy of a 2-yard keeper by number 24, Julian Steller.
Yeah, and that was a good comeback drive there for the Red Tornadoes after kind of being shut down on fourth down there and bending but not breaking on defense. We're able to come back and put some points on the board and get that early lead.
I think that's probably exactly what Coach Dara wanted to do. 9 carries, 86 yards, get the score, control some clock, and show them that we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, sort of impose our will on them. Yep, make a statement there. That was a really nice put together drive there from Coach Dara.
And we've talked about it a few times across the season, and we've seen it firsthand how that offensive line of the Red Tornadoes continues to grow, both in experience, obviously, but also they seem to be getting stronger as the season goes on. I mean, those 5 guys across the way, and Kelly, Colin Erb, Brad Shurek at the center, Nick Nestico, and Mike Mikowski. Those 5 guys can really set the tone for this Red Tornado offense.
Yeah, and even with 11 Panther defenders all around the offensive line of scrimmage for the Red Tornadoes there, we're still able to create holes. It's impressive.
You're right, Jim. I think John expected Bloom to run a 4-3, and they're out in the 5-2 with the corners walked up. It's almost a 5-4, daring us to throw the football, and we're just running it anyway.
Yeah.
Chapman to kick is a low liner in the direction of Hawk. He'll take it at the 5. He's going to get all the way across the field, and he's going to put his foot in the ground and come back across, try to get up the middle. He runs through a couple tackles before he's finally brought down at the 31. Looks like for the Red Tornadoes, that was number 3, Tom Davitt, on the tackle.
Yeah, nice tackle there by Davitt. Good kick coverage by the Red Tornadoes, but Hawk again. While it looked like the Red Tornado coverage was sort of closing that gate and closing him into one side of the field, he was able to find just a little crease and make a guy miss to get a couple extra yards there.
Seems like it's been a while since we've seen this Panther offense. How he's going to bring Klinger in motion and hand it to number 30, Cade Klinger. He'll be dragged down by 54, Mikowski. Looked like 21, Witkowski, and with a little bit of help from Troutman as well after 2 yards.
Yeah, and Jim, it looks as though this Red Tornado defense is going to basically tell the Panthers that you're going to have to keep throwing the ball if you want to try and have any success, because they're not really giving up a whole lot in the middle with this run game.
And the Panthers seem content to do that, as there'll be trips to the right, a single receiver to the left. And Howe's going to throw. Okay, it's a draw play, and Klinger's in the open space now. He's across the 50. Now it's a foot race. He's down inside the 30. He'll be finally dropped at the 28-yard line. But an interestingly designed play there. I'm not sure if it's by design or if there was some miscommunication between Howell and Klinger.
No, Jim, this is absolutely by design. I've seen this play on film, and with the success they've been having throwing the ball, it was extremely well-designed play for that current situation, and it worked perfectly for the Panthers.
1st and 10 from the 28 for the Panthers. The Red Tornadoes caught a break there. There was an official timeout that kind of slowed everything up. But Klinger in motion again, and now there'll be another flag on this one.
Gotta be procedure.
Let's see.
Yeah, look.
Again, early indications do seem to be illegal procedure penalty against the Panthers. And that's
taking a little bit of a hop.
Yeah, they're definitely doing a little bit of moving around there, but it's this is something I don't know. We don't want to talk about the past, Jim. Last year, when the Red Tornadoes played against Bloomsburg, they were plagued by an abundance of penalties last year. I remember it very, very clearly. We had a ton of penalties. So the Panthers, at this point, starting to kind of shoot themselves in the foot with a few costly penalties.
1st and 15. Howell's going to throw it again. He's under pressure, and he throws it in the middle of the field to Yoakum, and it's incomplete. There seems to be, Dan, you've talked about Howell moving the pocket, and they're doing a nice job of that, but it's difficult when there's a lot of, I'll call it the wash, around that 15 to 20-yard range where he's trying to throw the football.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many guys moving, and the Red Tornado defenders do a really good job. I don't know if it's by design with their defense, but those guys that are coming off the backside, instead of chasing backside, they'll take an angle and kind of drop back into coverage if you see those guys coming from the backside, which works really well.
Howell again will take the snap, and he looks to Klinger out there, and he had him in space, but a great tackle made out there by number 26, Nick Troutman.
Yeah, very nice tackle there. That guy coming out of the backfield there.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, Dan. That was Julian Stellar on the tackle, actually.
Okay, well, either way, we talked about the shuffling in and out at linebacker, which kind of makes it tough for us, but it's nice to have that ability, but did a really good job of getting out there and making that tackle.
And the Red Tornadoes, Dan, this defense is interesting as well, where Stellar's in at the linebacker. So we've got Chapman, Stellar, and Witkowski as the linebackers. Troutman has dropped back to, is that a monster back position?
He's playing free right now.
Free safety, okay.
Or strong, I'm sorry, strong for Noah. But it's almost like another linebacker.
Right.
Is what it is.
Yeah, it is like a monster back.
We're going to get a timeout here for the Panthers. Again, that's their second of the first half. 9:32 left in the first half. The Red Tornadoes on top 7-0 in the PCN game of the week. Big thank you to Service Electric Cablevision again, as always. Continue to support WKMC TV. And if you're interested in supporting the Mount Carmel Area School District, there are so many different ways you can do it. One way is, of course, the current turf project. In the spring of 2019, the Mount Carmel Area School District launched an unprecedented 3-year fundraising initiative to raise $1 million to restore and update Mount Carmel Area's famed Silverbowl Stadium. The main fundraising effort will go towards the installation of a new all-weather field. The goal of the district is for various sports to have the ability to compete and practice at the Silverbowl facility. So if you're interested in that, make sure to reach out to the Mount Carmel Area School District, 570-339-1500, and they will get you hooked up with the right people. 3rd and 15, here we go. Now it's a little bit of a pitch and a pass, and Klinger's ball is going to be in and out of the hands of number 10, Noah Burkowski. It'll fall incomplete and bring up 4th and 15 for the Panthers from the Red Tornado 31-yard line.
Yeah, and Jim, right there, in that little sequence that just happened there, 2 of the 3 keys that I laid out for the Panthers kind of came to fruition. I said that the best defense is a ball control offense. You saw the Panthers let that play clock wind down to 1 before they called that timeout. They want to not let the Red Tornadoes have the ball for as long as possible. And then they're trying to pull out all the stops. You see they went deep into the playbook for that halfback pass, and the Red Tornadoes were all over it.
4th and 14, Howell takes the snap. He's going to throw a laser, and it's incomplete. He looks for Klinger, and he takes a big hit from Burkowski. But the ball, he was going to have a hard time catching the football anyway, so it's going to be 1st and 10 Mount Carmel as that Red Tornado defense, again, Dan, does their best bend but don't break impression.
Yeah, and they did, again, as you said, Jim, that just did a really nice job of toughening up when they needed to. You know, they gave up one big play there, that halfback, that draw play, which now that they've seen it, I don't think you're going to see those linebackers bailing out into coverage as quickly. So I think they'll be a little bit more prepared for it next time, but they did a great job just getting tough when they needed to and getting that stop.
Yeah, 2 nice plays there in the passing game defensively by Burkowski to kind of end that drive, but the Red Tornadoes are going to keep it on the ground, and it's Reisinger, and he's in the open field. Now he's got a foot race. He's tripped up and around the 40-yard line. He'll fall forward out to the 39 by number 22, Damon Rasmussen, and he's the only man that was between Reisinger and another 6 points for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, Jim, I talked about it on the last drive, that's more of a change of pace play. You don't expect it always to break big, but Reisinger was able to make one guy miss and then just get on the outside there and get moving.
Nice 33 yards on that play for Reisinger.
Big play for the Red Tornadoes. But now it'll be Burkowski off that left side, and he picks his way. He fights through a couple tackles. We'll see. He doesn't go down. They'll stop his forward progress, and the play will be blown dead. But not for lack of trying on Burkowski's part.
Yeah, good work there by Burkowski, just kind of getting what he could. As I said, Jim, the Panthers defense is doing a really nice job on this play. Normally there's a cutback lane kind of right off the tackle there, and it hasn't been there, and Burkowski's trying to find it.
Reisinger pitches to Widener, and Widener's doing everything he can to get upfield. He'll get to the 30, So we'll give him a gain of 5. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 4.
And this will be a big 3rd down play for the Panthers here and the Red Tornadoes, because if the Panthers can keep this at a 1-score game, that'll do wonders for their confidence. If the Red Tornadoes can get up another score, that's going to really kind of, I think, bring that defense a little bit more to life and let them play a little more loose out there.
Reisinger sends Wider in motion. He fakes the pitch, and now he's going to keep it himself. And he's upfield, uses a stiff arm. It's a foot race, and he's going to be down again inside the 5. So another huge run by Reisinger, about 26 yards down to the 4-yard line, where it'll be 1st and goal, Red Tornadoes.
And you see Reisinger a little frustrated there. It looked like he got his feet tangled up. I'm not sure if he got him tangled up on his own or with Widener, but just it looked like Widener trying to get out in front of him to block, just got his feet tangled up there. So we'll see if Reisinger calls his own number here again.
Reisinger, 4 carries, 55 yards so far tonight.
But it'll be Widener, and he's in from 4 yards out. So just like that, with 7.5 left in the first half, the Red Tornadoes will jump out to a 13-0 lead, courtesy of the 4-yard run by Widener.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about Widener capping that drive off with the 4-yard run, but as Jose said, Reisinger working that ball all the way down the field. The 2 big runs, and that second one on a what I thought to be a pretty significant 3rd down, to kind of spring that drive and set up Widener for that touchdown.
Steller's kick is up, and it's good. So the Red Tornadoes will add another 7, and it'll be 14-0 Mount Carmel. Again, that Widener's going to get the 6 points at the end, but Jose, that looks like that's, what, 2 for all but 50 out of Reisinger on that one.
Yep. The 2 big runs, 59 yards for Tommy Reisinger, really set up that touchdown. And all of a sudden, Mount Carmel with 151 yards of offense when we were basically even a few minutes ago.
And that's one of the interesting things, I think, about Coach Dara's offense, and it's been that way pretty much since he got here, at least as far as I can remember, is that it's this shotgun double wing where everybody's within 5 yards of the ball, and it's tight, and you pound the ball, and it still has this quick strike capability. And I think a lot of that has to do with all the variables within that formation, Dan.
It's the variables, Jim, and this year especially, now it's happened over the past few years, but I've especially noticed it this year, just the fact that it sort of next man up mentality, where, Widener got stuffed for 2 runs in a row, so Burkowski's going to pick up the first down. Burkowski's getting stuffed, Widener's going to pick it up. Reisinger's going to pick it up. Steller's going to come in and do it. Anybody that has carried the ball has been successful in this offense.
Chapman's kick will be taken by Hawk at the 5, and he's going to take a big hit right at the 21. We'll see who exactly that was that put it on him. I think that's Steller, 24. So it'll be 1st and 10 Panthers. Let's see, they gave him the 24. Okay.
Yeah, that was a really good job there in the kick coverage. And like you said, a nice hit. And actually, Jim, I think it was Reed Wikoski, the first one down there.
Yeah.
Of course it was, right?
Right. Normally the first one down there looking to take somebody's head off running down the field.
Reed comes in tonight as the Red Tornadoes' leading tackler from his middle linebacker position. He certainly controls that defense out there for the Red Tornadoes. And Howe's going to take the snap and pitch to Klinger, and Klinger's going to reverse field. He does a nice job now. He's across the 27 to the 20. He'll get all the way to the 30, so he'll pick up 2. He'll run about a mile for the 2 yards, but could have easily lost. Oh, excuse me. Pick up 7. Could have easily lost as much on that one, but does a nice job of staying on his feet.
Yeah, and credit to the Red Tornadoes for being there on that backside, not over pursuing and kind of forcing him to cut that back. It was good job at the front there, but
Logan Wills totally turned to play back on the other side.
Yeah, doing
and
his
Brock
job at
made
defensive end.
A good play at this end.
Yep.
So Howe looks over that Red Tornado defense. He's going to turn. It's going to be Klinger again, the younger Klinger, Gage, number 24. But the Red Tornadoes are waiting for that one. And they'll lose about 3. Back to the 27, so it's going to bring up 3rd and 6.
Yeah, Jim, it seems to be a common thing over these first couple drives for the Panthers. It's 1 step forward and 2 steps back. They they get a nice play or they get a big play and then they hurt themselves with a penalty, or they try and get a little too fancy there with a little reverse type play, and the Red Tornadoes just not fooled and moving them back.
Now the Panthers are going to come out in a little tighter formation out of the pistol. Howe will roll to his right. He'll throw for number 23, Hurd, but he's going to be hit by Chapman, and the ball will pop out. He'll be incomplete, bring up 4th down. A big hit by Chapman jarred that ball loose.
Yeah, because he didn't have. You said it was Hurd there, was able to get his hands on that ball, but wasn't able to pull it in. And then Chapman just came straight across his chest and put a hit on him and knocked that ball loose. I don't think it was going to be enough for a first down either way, but definitely the stop of the clock is good for the Red Tornadoes. Give them a little bit extra time to try and put another one across the board.
Now, interestingly enough, trailing 14-0, the Panthers will be punting for the first time. Punting to Burkowski and Pupo, and Burkowski's going to run about 15 yards up to catch that one, but the Red Tornadoes will start this drive inside Panther territory, 1st and 10 at the 47.
And Jim, that's a very smart decision there by Burkowski. We've seen it happen a few times throughout the season where we let it go, call a fair catch, and just everybody gets away from it, and the ball bounces and rolls 10 to 20 yards.
Burkowski was coming forward with such momentum that they're going to rule that he actually caught it at midfield. So that's where the Red Tornadoes will start instead. Reisinger to throw. Oh, the ball's tipped, and it falls incomplete, but there's a quick flag on the play.
Right in the middle of the field there, too, Jim. That's usually the area of offensive holding where they threw it, but we'll have to get the call here.
That's what it'll be, Dan, so that'll be walked off against the Red Tornadoes.
So back to where Burkowski was originally lined up to field the punt.
Where he started running.
Right.
We'll be back to the 40, 1st and 20 now for this Red Tornado squad. And again, they'll take a step backward, and that's something that they haven't done in quite a few drives.
Yeah, but I like what Coach Dyer is doing here, kind of, getting close to the end of the half. Let's open them up a little bit and throw it now.
Reisinger is going to throw it again. And he'll give Daukus out of the backfield, but a nice play made over there by number 28, Xavier Russell King, to stop Daukus pretty much right where he caught the ball.
Yeah, and it looks like it might be for a short loss or maybe just no gain. But either way, the Panthers bringing a lot of pressure on Reisinger. I saw 3 or 4 guys were kind of in his face when he got that ball out, and I think that's why he had to check it down to Daukus instead of taking his time and throwing it downfield.
2nd and 20, Mount Carmel will stay in their shotgun double wing. Burkowski and Daukus in the wings to the right, but Reisinger is going to throw it out of that formation. He floats it over the top. There's a screen set up for the Red Tornadoes. That's Burkowski. Does a nice job getting into Panther territory down to the 45, pick up 15 and make it a manageable 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Jim, that was extremely well designed, and Coach Dyer doing a really nice job of calling that play there. I just talked about the pursuit from that defensive front that was getting the pressure on Reisinger, kind of foaming at the mouth trying to get after him. So they get a free run, everybody takes off, and Reisinger just dumps it over the top to Burkowski.
Reisinger's going to keep it himself again after the pitch to Reisinger, and he fights hard. Forward progress will have him very close to that 1st down.
Yeah, it's going to be real close there, Jim, but this seems like one of those situations we might have to get a measurement from where looks like they're
Now that, interestingly
just
enough,
going to wind the clock. And
the chain is
they're
going to
giving
move.
him the 1st down. Okay.
Okay. That was, the clock's going to continue to run. Didn't look like it stopped on the 1st down. Didn't see a clear call there.
No.
But nevertheless, the Red Tornadoes are happy to take it.
And
we're going to get a whistle.
Flag.
And a flag dropped in the backfield. False start against the Red Tornadoes. Didn't necessarily see where that was.
Yeah, I wasn't able to see where it was. I was still trying to figure out what was going on with the chains and why they wound the clock and things like that. But,
I'm surprised they didn't measure it.
That's what I thought, too. I thought that was one of those situations. It's right at the marker that they're going to measure it. But then I thought they were just going to call it fourth down, and then they call it first down. So a lot of different stuff going on. But Red Tornadoes, again, first down, looking to move the ball.
Play clock about to run out here on the Red Tornadoes. They'll get it off just in time. Reisinger is going to throw. He's going to throw it back across his body to Chapman, and Chapman's in the open field. He's knocked out of bounds right at the 25. Excuse me, at the 20. And Chapman is down for the moment. He's tripped up by 22, Damon Rasmussen.
Yeah, and good job by Chapman picking up that first down on 1st and 15. And we'll see what the timeout on the field is here.
Yeah, Chapman, the Red Tornadoes' leading receiver by a pretty good margin coming into this one. 24 catches for 498 yards and 4 touchdowns before tonight started. Certainly added to it there. So both sides will take a knee. And while they do that, and we have a minute, we mentioned it before, tonight's honorary co-captain was Wayne Shiren. So Wayne Shiren, he was a 1965 graduate of Mount Carmel area, where he was a part of legendary coach Jazz Diminick's first football team here, Dan.
Wow.
After graduation, Shiren became a 4-year starter at wide receiver at Sterling College. He helped the Warriors to the 1968 Kansas College Athletic Championship. While he was there, he earned a Bachelor of Science degree and followed that up with a Master of Arts from Adelphi University in 1975. And then, just because he was rolling through it, he added a professional diploma in educational administration from Long Island University in 1980. Then he went to West Islip, where he served as the head football coach. That's West Islip, New York, from 81 to 95. And he posted down, listen to this, 112, 26, and 3 record there, while winning 7 league titles, making the playoffs 14 out of 15 years, won a conference championship, 2 county divisional championships, and 2 Suffolk County championships as Chapman's up, and they'll continue to tend to him. Shiren also was inducted into the Suffolk County Sports Hall of Fame as he was the County Coach of the Year there in 85 and 94. He's the Ed Romance Chapter PA Sports Hall of Fame in 2007. And just this past September, on the 20th, Wayne was notified that the field, Dan, at West Islip High School Stadium would be named in his honor.
Wow.
It's quite an honor for a local Mount Carmel kid, and that's why we honored him tonight with the honorary coin toss. It was supposed to be last week, guys, and unfortunately his mother, Vern, died 2 weeks ago here at the age of 100.
Oh, my
They
goodness.
just celebrated her birthday this last summer. So he wanted to postpone it, so we were certainly able to let him do that.
And the Red Tornadoes are able to keep it rolling here with handoff to Burkowski. They'll get down at the 11, give him 9 yards on that one. So we're under 3 minutes here in the first half with the Red Tornadoes on top, 14-0 of the visiting Panthers of Bloomsburg. And they're threatening again, knocking on the door. 2nd and 1 from the 11.
And Jim, it would be a big boost here again for the Red Tornadoes if they're able to put one more in before the half here.
Certainly the mindset. And it's going to be a snap to Daukus, and the snap is low. He does a great job of picking it up off the turf. He'll pick up the first down and get down to the 6, where it'll be 1st and goal Mount Carmel.
Yeah, Daukus does a really good job there, because normally that's one of those plays where he takes the snap, he gets it usually in his stomach, and he's already got his shoulders square, and he's just putting his head down. That time was able to pick it up off the ground, so kind of was able to do a couple little finesse move there that we don't normally see out of Daukus, and wiggle himself around there to pick up 5.
This time it'll be Widener off the right side, and he's going to try to fight through those arm tackles. He does a great job of getting up. Somehow he figured out a yard out of that one. I'm not sure how he did it. That's all willpower at that point. 2nd and goal from the 5.
And we continue to see these Red Tornado backs just impress with the way they're moving the ball, everything that they're doing. They just, it doesn't matter how big or small the backs are that are carrying the ball, they're running hard and tough.
And this time it'll be Reisinger, and he's met right at the goal line. Oh, and it looked like he was able to power through, but they mark him down short by about an eyelash, Dan.
Yeah, and Reisinger's not a small guy. We talk about, the size of that quarterback, and he put everything he could into that, and just, unfortunately, instead of getting hit straight on, where I think he would have won that battle, got hit kind of sideways and taken down short. And now it looks like the Panthers defense, seeing Stellar go in there for that Wildcat set, wants to scheme something defensively, and maybe they're going to try and do some Troy Polamalu type stuff, send somebody from safety and meet him at the top.
You know, you guys, you're talking about the running game. So far tonight, Shane Widener, 11 carries for 67 yards. Tommy Reisinger, 6 for 64. So pretty balanced there, and mixing it up a little bit with Burkowski getting a couple carries in there. I think they're just trying to establish this ground game and saying we can do what we want.
Yeah, and that's the thing that, you know, we talked about it early, that a lot of, we had, it was 9 touchdowns last week total, Jose?
Yeah.
9 touchdowns, 8 on the ground.
9 possessions, 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, and 8 of them on the ground.
Right.
So everyone knows that we're going to run the ball and wants to sell out to stop that. And I love the fact that Coach Dara is just going to keep pounding it on the ground.
So here we are, 3rd and a foot from the 1. Stellar picks his way, and he's going to go in untouched for his 2nd rushing touchdown of the night. This one shorter than the first, but it'll be 20-0 Red Tornadoes with 1:27 left in the first half.
And you know that offensive line and the got everybody that got out in front of Stellar on that play just did a really good job. Like you said, he kind of did one little head fake and was able to walk into the end zone untouched.
So Stellar will be on to attempt the extra point again. I enjoy when he scores a touchdown, then he comes and kicks the extra point because he doesn't have to give points to anybody else. He can keep them all for himself. So it's a good snap, good hold. The kick is good as well.
Wow.
And it's 21-0 Red Tornadoes as this offense seems to be finding a little bit of a groove.
Yeah, they definitely are finding a groove and are finding it, as Jose said, on the ground. You know, a few mix in a few passes here and there to help keep the Panthers off balance, but they're really starting to move the ball at will.
Well, Tommy Reisinger chipping in on the ground, but he's also 5 for 6 for 56 yards in the first half. That's not a bad half either.
No, definitely not.
Not at all. Again, 1:27 left in the first half here. The Red Tornadoes on top 21-0 in PCN's Game of the Week. So PCN's Game of the Week continues next Friday live at 7 p.m. as Emma takes on Parkland. And a special edition of the Game of the Week has been added, Dan. We get an extra one next week, Saturday, October 26th. Cumberland Valley faces State College High School at Beaver Stadium on the campus of Penn State University. You can watch that live, 12 noon. You can catch the entire game on cable and stream it with PCN Select. And once again, you can always visit PCNTV.com for the schedule. And if you want to know about the Red Tornadoes, get yourself out to RedTornadoFootball.com. Now, Stellar is going to kick that one off as Chapman headed back to the locker room, and he'll kick it off to Hawk, who does a nice job of fighting forward out to the 34. So good return there by Hawk.
Yeah,
Panthers will pick up 1st and 10 from there.
Yeah, really nice return from Hawk there, but good job kind of rallying to the ball there as Hawk, with a head of steam, is tough to take down. We said 6'1", 6'1" senior, working hard in there, but good job by the Red Tornadoes to kind of get in there and gang tackle and, make sure they got him down on that one.
We'll see how the Panthers approach this. Again, 1:19 left. Their offense does lend itself to quick strike with how much Howell likes to throw it. We'll see. He's going to do that here. And he's under pressure, and Daukus is going to throw him down in the backfield. So that play looked a little out of sorts from the beginning. Howell will be thrown down all the way back at the 20. And now here's something interesting, Dan. Coach Dara is going to take his 2nd time out of the half.
And Jim, I'm not sure if this is one of those situations where Coach Dara wants to get an opportunity with the ball back, or if he just wants to make sure that the defense is prepared for this, the passing that we're going to see. But either way, I like what Coach Dara is doing.
He wants a touchdown,
yeah.
guys. He wants to get this up another score. And like he talked about last night at Supper Club, he wanted to try to get some players time. Not that he was, taking anything for granted, but, whatever time we can get the younger players time like we have the last few weeks,
yep.
It's something that he'd want to definitely take advantage of.
Well, and we talked about, for a second, Dan, you talked about the meeting between these two teams last year.
Yeah.
And that meeting took place on the campus of Bloomsburg University. Now, last week was the first official home game for the Bloomsburg Panthers back at their newly renovated home field. That was homecoming, so it was a nice opening there. But, of course, going on the road isn't always as friendly as being at home.
No, definitely not always as friendly as being at home. And it is tough for, any team, I think, to drive in here to Mount Carmel and come out here on the field, warm up in pregame, and you got the parade coming down 3rd Street. You have all the sights and sounds here at the Silverbowl that you don't really get to experience anywhere else.
Senior night for the band as well tonight, so there's a lot of activities here at the stadium as always. Oh, they're going to get another motion penalty against the Panthers. It looked like the slot receiver was coming across the formation and started to head upfield a little bit too early. So we'll drop another 5 yards on that one, back to the 15.
Yeah, Jim, that's one of those situations, too, where I'm hoping that, it's hard to hear from up here because there's so much stuff going on, but I'm hoping that when that receiver kind of starts to throttle down, getting close to that edge, that slot corner or whoever's in coverage on the slot should really be letting Daukus or Wills know, like, hey, that crackback's coming, so they can be prepared for it.
Now a little bit of change of pace here for the Panthers as they'll just hand it off to Klinger up the middle. He'll be stopped for a yard, and another timeout by the Red Tornadoes. 1:06 left. The Red Tornadoes on top 21-0. That will be their final timeout of the half, though. So while the Panthers are facing a 3rd and 27 from their own 17, the Red Tornadoes aren't able to stop it again of their own volition.
Right. So what the Red Tornadoes are going to have to hope for is that if the Panthers decide to run it again, which I am assuming they will, I'm sure they'll let it run down as far as they can before they get the punt out. So hopefully Red Tornadoes can either get after the punt and get a punt block, a big return, or just get it close enough for Reisinger to put it in the air and try and get it to the end zone.
With those timeouts, I mean, Coach Dare, he can't take them with him to the locker room, and they're not going to carry over the second half.
Right.
So by all means, use them up, and if something works out, great, and if not, they pick up a couple yards here, and the Panthers punt. Well, there's no harm done there for the Red Tornadoes.
Right. So we'll see what the Panthers have dialed up. We talked about it. They're probably going to run it into the line here as they did last time. Although they do continue to spread it out, but it seems like they want to. Oh, well, looks
so
a
that's
little
going to be
wildcat.
Klinger in the shotgun, and he brings Russell King in motion. He'll keep it himself, but the Red Tornadoes were never really fooled by that one. He'll get out to the 20 for a gain of 3. And as the clock winds under a minute, we'll see how this plays out.
And that's the thing, Jim. You don't ever really see any team have a whole lot of success run the ball up the middle against this Red Tornado defense.
We're going to get an official's timeout, and I wonder, Dan, it didn't seem like the play clock started.
It didn't, and I believe that's what they're going to take a look at here, because it looks like they're pointing at the play clock and the end zone scoreboard clock. So which is going to benefit the Red Tornadoes if they want to run time off of the play clock or put time back onto the game clock.
Now the officials are going to continue to convene, and while they're looking at the scoreboard in one end zone, in the other end zone you have the Red Tornado Brick Project, so we might as well take a second to talk about that, which is another really cool thing that we've got going on here. Again, the project includes a brick 6-foot by 6-foot water jet image of our Red Tornado logo in the center. It's surrounded by 4-inch by 8-inch and 12-inch by 12-inch bricks, with all proceeds going to the general upkeep of the Silverbowl Stadium. Again, the location's in that south end zone. If you've been at the Silverbowl this season or last season, you've already noticed the project's underway. Its goal is to start a new tradition among fans, and it's a gathering place. So for more information about that project, please contact the Mount Carmel Area Junior Senior High School Principal Office, the Athletic Office, the District Office at 570-339-1500, or our very own Jose Gonzalo at RXManJag, that's RXMANJAG at gmail.com. You can also make your own orders by printing the Red Tornado Legacy brick form from www.mca.k12.pa.us and sending your check to the Mount Carmel Area School District Education Foundation at 600 West 5th Street in Mount Carmel, PA 17851.
And Jim, we talked about how they were going to fix the clock here. So they just put just about 11 seconds back on the game clock.
And minus 10
yeah,
seconds.
and took 15, I think. It started at 40, I think, Jose, and took the play clock back down to the proper 25-second.
I think they want to change it, though. It looks like they're not happy with the way it is.
47, I think, is what they're looking to put it at. So they may, again, their complaint may not have been with the game clock at that point, but if they can get the play clock right.
Well, either way, no harm, no foul there. They're going to run the clock now, game clock and play clock, and the Red Tornadoes are going to get an opportunity.
Well, they're going to run it down to 14 or 15 and then punt it.
Got another official timeout.
Wait, it shouldn't have started.
So now it looks like on the far sideline, Coach Fry of the Panthers, he may have some questions.
Yeah, he just wants an explanation
about how that clock wound up getting reset himself.
So now we're going to have to reset the clocks again, get the timing right again.
I don't know, guys, maybe I'm just getting old here, but have you ever had a year where the officials at every level of football have become as obvious and as much a part of the game as this year?
No, I absolutely agree.
I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying as much a part of.
Yeah, it definitely beginning to be more prevalent.
We'll get started here. It looks like if they run this all the way down, they'll snap with just about 27 seconds left. And Howell will wait. Does a nice job. And it's a tough snap. And the Red Tornadoes had a good rush on it. Howell does what he can to get it out. It'll die.
Down it.
It'll stop right at the 48-yard line of the Panthers, that is. So with 19 seconds left, the Red Tornadoes will have first and 10 at the 48-yard line. And it'll be interesting to see what Coach Dara wants to go with. Again, we talked about it before. There was really no risk with his approach to take those timeouts. It just becomes, how do you want to handle these last 19 seconds?
And Jim, I think you spread it out. You go with your 4 wide set. You run a couple out routes and get these guys to the sidelines and try and get down to the 40-30-yard line. And let Reisinger throw it to the end zone.
It looks like at least how it's going to start out. This is about as wide open as the Red Tornadoes get. Brokowski and Wills will be to the left. It looks like number 2, Mike Wolichik, out to the right. So Reisinger takes the snap and he's going to roll to his left. And he throws it in the direction of Brokowski. It falls incomplete, but there's a flag on the play almost immediately. Looks like it's probably going to go against the Red Tornadoes from an illegal formation penalty. I think we've seen enough of those tonight on both sides.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be. So it'll cost Mount Carmel 5.
More importantly, it cost us 5 seconds.
Right.
Or 10 or 11?
Yeah, just about.
So we'll see how the Red Tornadoes approach that, or if that'll just be the kind of the death knell of the first half for this Red Tornado offense.
Yeah, we'll see. We see Daukus check out, so it looks like they're going to put an extra receiver in there, and they do with Pupo.
Going doubles.
So they're going to go double twins, and I think Reisinger's going to put this ball in the air, Jim.
Widener will stay back as personal protector, most likely, of Reisinger. And he's going to throw it. He's got Wolichik in one-on-one coverage. Wolichik does a great job pulling back from the ball. He makes the catch. Now he's fighting. He's going to be thrown out of bounds.
Face mask, too.
Along with the face mask. So with 6.8 seconds left, let's see, they'll mark him at the 6. It's most likely going to wind up first and goal, Mount Carmel from the 3.
And Jim, I just want to point out that week 1, when Wolichik was getting his first start at corner, and Coach Dara talked about him being a gamer and him playing against the old guys, not the old guys, but the adults in basketball, and being, a sort of a taller, skinny kid, the way he goes up and gets rebounds. And that's pretty much what he did right there. Reisinger threw that one up for him, and he just went up and got it. And made a huge play there on what, I'm not sure, Jose, if he had
47 yards.
But I don't know. Does Wolichik have any catches throughout the year?
Yes, he had one against Central. He had one against Southern for 27 yards.
So that's number 2, and that's a big one for sure.
It'll be all for naught if Mount Carmel can't get in here, and they'll get a false start procedure penalty against the Red Tornadoes. So it'll push him back to the 9 now.
Yeah, although, I mean, it looked like might have been drawn off there, but not going to really make a difference.
It's going to give more room to throw to fade in this end of the court.
Yeah, that's very true. So why not let Belichick go again with the height advantage he has on his.
We need one touchdown by someone else, right? No,
Yeah.
we'll talk about. Anyway, we can talk about that later.
So we'll see again. 2 split out to the right. Belichick by himself to the left. Reisinger's looking to the right. He's going to roll. He's going to run out of time. This is going to be the only play they have. Now he throws in the middle of the end zone, and somehow Wills came over and he scores!
Wow!
The Red Tornadoes somehow put another 6 points on the board here. A 9-yard completion from Reisinger to Wills, and Reisinger threw that about 40 yards from the right hash all the way into the left corner of the end zone.
And Jim, I love. We talk about we've talked so much this year about the development of Reisinger, how he's able to kind of extend plays and get out of the pocket and keep his eyes downfield. But we haven't really touched as much on the development of the receivers being able to extend the play with him and find open field as Wills did there.
So Steller's kick is up, and it's good. And so it's an exciting end of the half that you're going to see that does bring us to the end of the first half. And the home team, the Red Tornadoes, are on top of the visiting Bloomsburg Panthers 28-0 in this PCN game of the week. So we'll be back after the half with the Bloomsburg High School Band. Welcome back to the Silverbowl, where the Red Tornadoes are on top of the visiting Bloomsburg Panthers 28-0 at the end of the first half. Hope you enjoyed the Bloomsburg High School band over your halftime, as well as the nice little documentary on WKMC TV. So one of the great things tonight is we're always stealing Jose's stats. He provides them to us from the sideline, and we get to talk through them. But fortunately for us, we have him with us tonight. So, Jose, do you want to run us down some stats?
Sure. For Bloomsburg in the first half, Jimmy, 13 rushing attempts for 74 yards, 4 of 14 passing for 33 yards. Total offense, 107 yards and 6 first downs. And if you notice, I think we had him at 68 at the quarter. So the second quarter, Mount Carmel held them to 40 yards in the second quarter while scoring 28 points themselves. Yeah. For Mount Carmel, 24 rushes for 162 yards, 7 of 8 for Tommy Reisinger with 111 yards, 13 first downs for Mount Carmel. And Reisinger, I mean, it's really an interesting game for him. It might be one of the better ones of his career when you've mixed numbers. He has 175 yards in total offense in the first half. That's counting a 14-yard sack or whatever he took early. So he's having a real nice night. So
again, so we've got a 28-0 score. We heard the stats. Dan, how do those kind of things translate into what you envision coming in today, your keys of the game?
Well, yeah, Jim. Talk about the Red Tornadoes, the success they've been having offensively. And, you know, even though they've had a little trouble defensively, that kind of bend but don't break defense that really stepped up in the second quarter. So we're going to check off all 3 of the keys for the Red Tornadoes tonight. The continuing to put pressure on defenses, remaining balanced offensively. They're having success running inside, outside, different guys getting the ball, and that passing game, and they're not taking plays off. You saw especially on that final play of the first half where Reisinger extended the play and Wills having the wherewithal to fight over top of defenders in the end zone and find a way to get open there. So great job for them. On the other side for the Panthers, struggling a little bit. Came out, started the game with a little bit of fire, a little bit of momentum, but haven't been able to really roll that momentum over from last week into this week that they had after their big win against Hughesville. They've created maybe 2 or 3 big plays. They've attempted some that to no avail. And as much as they've tried to kind of hold the ball on offense, I saw a few times where they let the clock wind down, called a timeout before coming out with a 3rd down or 4th down play. They really haven't been able to control that clock and keep the Red Tornadoes off the field long enough to keep their scoring down.
Yeah, and it's been, I mean, the Red Tornadoes, I think we talked about it, that first scoring drive of the game was a long play, long drive, 9 plays, 80 yards, something in that ballpark. But it does feel like all of a sudden it got to 28. It just kind of, we joked about it during the half that it was a scoreless first quarter. Now, that's being a little, we're playing with the numbers there a little bit because the Red Tornadoes had a 1st and goal from the 3, I believe, to start the second quarter and scored 4 seconds in. But nonetheless, you look at that box score, there's all zeros in the first quarter and then a 28 spot for the Red Tornadoes in the second.
Yeah, and they definitely, once their offense kind of got rolling, they hit them hard and they hit them fast. And the Panthers defense was reeling there towards the end of the half and probably had a nice little reprieve at halftime, just trying to catch their breath and trying to scheme something. They started off, forced the Red Tornadoes into, what was it, 2 turnovers on downs in the first quarter. So they're going to try and kind of pick some of that back up and do the same thing going in here.
Now, the ending of Red Tornado drives is interesting because, Jose, you mentioned something before we came back on about how Red Tornadoes drives have, or maybe we should say haven't ended in quite some time.
Well, if I jinxed the Red Tornadoes, it's not my fault because you said this. Now, I said this off the record. But no, not kidding here. Mount Carmel now has 28 consecutive possessions without having to punt, going back to the first possession of the second half in the Mifflinburg game when Chapman punted for a 51-yard punt back then. But since then, 28 consecutive possessions without having to punt. And I know we just messed that all up, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. And hopefully, I feel as though if the Red Tornadoes come out with the same fire that they did in that second quarter and towards the end of that first quarter there that they had, we're not going to have to worry about seeing any punter trot out there on the field. So I think we're in a pretty good position starting the second half.
We're just hoping here for a Shane Widener return on a kickoff. That attempt at the record has been holding on here now for about 4 weeks, where he hasn't been able to run a kickoff back because we've been so successful you don't get to get kicked off to. But he needs like 73 yards to break the all-time kickoff return record at Mount Carmel, held currently by Blake Panko. So he told me in his scouting report he saw that they kicked the ball off from the left hash, and as we look out on the field, they're kicking it from the middle of the field.
And they're kicking it watermelon style.
Yeah,
it
so
looks
it's
like.
not going anywhere near.
Yeah, it's going to go to that second line if it gets past there.
It's going to be low. It's going to bounce over Everett, so Widener will pick it up, and now he's up the seam, and he's moving. He's running through leg tackles. Oh my goodness!
Man.
He's tripped up. He'll fall forward all the way out to the. We'll see where this is. The 47-yard line. 48-yard line, excuse me. So it'll be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes. The first drive of the second half will start there.
So
he took it on a 28, and if he'd have run on a 20, if he'd have run it back, it would have been 80 yards, and he would have had it.
So well, he's going to get a little bit closer, but he's not going to get there just yet. And I know the Red Tornado defense is hoping he doesn't get another opportunity to get a return here. But we will see this offense look to put another score up on the board.
And Reisinger's going to throw it. They'll look to do just that. He pump fakes to get a little space, and then he's just going to throw it into the ground. And we'll see. There's a flag in the defensive backfield.
That's an intentional grounding, I'm going to guess.
Did look like it.
It was weird where he threw the flag to, though.
Right, and there was some communication with the official and the defensive back for the. Oh, that was telling him to get the kicking block. And that's what it'll be against the Red Tornadoes. There will be intentional grounding. Reisinger kind of spiked that one.
So that's got to go back to where he threw it from, correct?
I believe so.
But nobody has a mark.
And that's why I was.
They're
waving it off.
Maybe they finally found the receiver that was in the area there. So I'm guessing this is just going to go to second and 10.
It's just going to go to 2nd 10 from the 48 on an incompletion.
So Coach Fry looks like he has some questions on the sideline, and frankly, I don't blame him. But you won't hear any complaints from the Red Tornado faithful tonight on that one. So it'll be 2nd and 10. It'll be a pitch to Widener now. He does a nice job breaking through tackles, and now he's in the open field. And Widener's in a foot race, and he's not an easy guy to catch at the 5, and Widener's going to take it all the way in. 52-yard run for the Red Tornadoes. 5th score of the night. Make it 34-0 with 11:36 left in the third quarter. And Stellar's PAT has a little bit of import here, Dan.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last week because it happened right before the half, too. We could have went into halftime and came back out with the continuous running clock to start. So we're looking at the same thing here to possibly go into the mercy rule with this extra point.
See what he does. It's, again, a good snap and a good hold. And that kick is up, and he yanked it to the left, so it's going to stay at 34. So almost as soon as we bring it up, surely that's how it works out here. But again, this is the PCN game of the week. And remember, the PCN is your home for PIAA championship coverage. That's golf, soccer, field hockey, girls volleyball, cross country, and football. And those things fill the airwaves this fall. You can and should watch all of these PIAA championships on PCN. Visit PCNTV.com for the complete schedule.
Yeah, we'll see the Red Tornadoes defense trot out here for their first defensive series. Now, although we will not have a continuous running clock just yet, Red Tornado defense will definitely be looking to get the ball back to the offense quickly to make that happen.
Stellar will be out. He'll be handling the kicking duties again in Chapman's absence.
Widener now with 12 carries for 119 yards. as we open up the second half.
And that's what we've been looking for from Widener. He hasn't had the opportunities too often these past few weeks, but a couple 100-yard games is going to put him into some pretty good company there, Jose, I believe, correct?
Yeah, this moves him into the top 10 all-time rushing.
Now a big return here by Hawk, and now he's in the open field. Burkowski's the only one that's got a line on him. He takes a good line, and he trips him up. So a great job of understanding the angles there by number 10, Burkowski, as Hawk made a lot of changes early on in that kick to find an opening.
Yeah, and I think Coach Dara is thanking him, whoever coaches the special teams out there right now for making the safety valve Noah Burkowski, because, I mean, he's one of the fastest guys you have out there on the field and is able to run that play down. And, I'm pretty confident, and I'm sure everybody else on the Red Tornado sideline is pretty confident that even with the Panthers starting in this field position, it's going to be tough for them to put 6 points on the board.
Yeah, this field position is the Red Tornado 26-yard line, and Howell's going to come up and he throws it right across the middle. It goes up and over. It'll fall incomplete. It's up and over the hands of Wikoski. And good pressure there applied by the Red Tornado defense as well. It was 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Wikoski a little frustrated with himself, as you said. It looked like that went right over top of his head. He just wasn't able to get his hands up quick enough to make the interception there, but good coverage behind him. I think it was Burkowski that put the hit on the receiver and kind of dislodged that ball.
2nd and 10. Howell in the shotgun, or the pistol that is. He hands it off to Klinger. Nowhere to go for Klinger again, as those Red Tornado interior defensive linemen haven't let that play get anywhere all night.
Yeah, it looked like Mikowski coming off the pile there with Daukus, Wikoski, Wills. The whole defensive line pretty much teaming up there to make that quick stop.
3rd and 10. 10:45 and counting in the third quarter. The Red Tornadoes on top, 34-0. And Howell's going to throw. He's got his man. It's Hawk, and Hawk does a terrific job of making that catch. So the Panthers are on the board, 34-6.
Yeah, that's a very, very nice job of Hawk using his hands and going up and getting that ball. Made it pretty easy for Howell. Howell just took 2 steps and threw it to the corner of the end zone, and Hawk did the rest. So a nice job by Howell to get to Hawk, and very nice job from Hawk pulling that one in to put the Panthers' first score up. But if you want to look at a bright side of this from the Red Tornado side, might get to see Shane Widener return another kick.
And the kick is up and good from Klinger, so it'll be 34-7. Yeah, Dan, that's an interesting point. You always try to find these things, right? Silver lining.
Yeah, right.
But just a quick reminder, again, with PCN tonight, it's a great honor, PCN Game of the Week. And you're seeing these shots courtesy of the WKMC TV studio. It's an all-student crew from the Mount Carmel Area Junior Senior High School. On the cameras, we have Jake Evans, Jaylee Gonzalez, Zoe Psycho, Sammy Zatney, and Jade Whitmer. Graphics, thanks to Orville Fesniak. Recording, we have Krista Kimzel. Production assistants, Aaron Bossler, Danielle Lepotsky. And the master controller, we split duties. For the first half, it's Tyler Barnhart. In the second half, it's Corin Enos. So again, it's all student run. Remember, when you're enjoying this, make sure you head out to redtornadofootball.com. There's an option for you to donate. You can continue to support these types of activities at the Mount Carmel Area School District.
Yeah, so Jim, we'll see this. After Red Tornadoes thought they got to 3rd down really, really quick on the defensive side of the ball, but were able to convert that 3rd down into a touchdown. So we'll see the Red Tornado offense come back out on the field.
And that time, that watermelon kick is going to go to Troutman, and Troutman caught it at the 40 and made a hard left. He ran all the way across the field on the 40-yard line and then turned up at the last minute. He'll get to see where they mark him out of bounds, at the 44. And again, good field position for the Red Tornadoes on their second drive of the 3rd quarter.
And Jim, I have to tell you, I love when Troutman gets the ball, because he gets a full head of steam and doesn't want anyone to take him down. I'm pretty sure he took a Panther off of his feet with a stiff arm, with just from pure energy. And now you see him in at that tight end spot to spell Chapman, where Chapman, the injured Chapman.
Reisinger is going to hand it to Bendis. Joey Bendis is in there for Widener, and he's going to continue to work hard. Now the ball pops out, and we'll see. It looks like the Red Tornadoes were able to get back on top of that, fortunately. It'll be 2nd and a yard.
Yeah, Jim, this is something you see. I've noticed it from the Panthers, and that's one thing that I've noticed they do pretty well on the defensive side of the ball, is if somebody's holding somebody up, they're going to start ripping at the ball. And you saw there, they were able to pull it away from Bendis, but thankfully he was able to get back on it.
2nd and 1, Burkowski in motion, but it's going to be Bendis again, and he's got nowhere to go. A lot of white jerseys, big surge there from the Panthers. Now Bendis will come out of there without a helmet on.
Yeah,
so
and a little late push there too, but looking for his helmet. Now he's going to be spelled by Widener here.
Loss of a yard on that one will make it 3rd and 2.
But I like what Coach Dara did there. Ben is the guy that coughed the ball up to play before. Let's give it back to him and try and build a little bit of confidence in that ball security.
Reisinger is going to hand it inside to Burkowski. Burkowski's wide open. And all the Red Tornadoes need to do is not commit any penalties, and they won't. That's going to be a big run. 48-yard by Burkowski, 40-7 Red Tornadoes.
And Jim, I just want to point something out that you're probably not going to see on if we even get a replay. You're not going to see a whole lot, but there was a pile of about 6 or 7 bodies right at the line of scrimmage, where that offensive line just created a pileup, which occupied a lot of defenders and didn't give anyone an opportunity to get after Burkowski. So Burkowski making the moves and getting to the outside and outrunning everybody to the end zone, but the offensive line starting that play.
And Steller's kick is up, and this one is good. It'll be 41-7. So we'll stay at 34 here between these teams. Again, 9:02 left in the 3rd quarter. The Red Tornadoes on top, 41-7. Now, another thing, we talked about Wayne Shiren as the honorary captain tonight. Well, there's another Red Tornado honored, a fallen Red Tornado, Mr. Ron Jealous. His family was here. They raised the colors, his entire family. So Ron and Jim, Blaine and Debbie, Joan and Tony Benedict, along with Devin, Jared, Luke, Jude, and cousin Diane. So a huge, huge contingent here, as they should be. Ron was a 1956 graduate of Mount Carmel High School. He was a Red Tornado. He was a standout for Coach Mike Terry. Ron was the starting left end for the Tornadoes during their Eastern Conference Championship season in '54. And Ron returned a fumble for a touchdown in the Eastern Conference Championship game, 40 yards, in a 34-13 win over West Scranton. And then as a senior, that was in '54 when he was a sophomore. Wow. And then as a senior, he was named co-captain along with Tom Revac. Ron continued. We'll pause here for a big kick out of Stellar. That'll be to Klinger at the 8. Klinger won't have nearly as much success as Hawk. He'll be dropped at about the 28. But Dan, Mr. Jealous, we certainly want to continue talking about him. So again, Ron, after his success here with the Red Tornadoes, he attended basic training during the summers of his sophomore and junior years, and then at Fort Union Military Academy after graduation, when he was then invited to play football at the University of Maryland. After that, he went back to the military. He played on a number of military all-star teams and even received a tryout with the Baltimore Colts. Wow. Yeah, and then not just a guy on the football field, he was super successful. He attended the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business and would eventually serve as a vice president at Mid-Atlantic and PNC Banks for over 30 years.
Wow.
So an extremely successful career on and off the field for the late Ron Jealous, and we're certainly grateful that his family was able to make the trip tonight so we can honor him appropriately.
You know, it was real good to meet those folks before the game. I got to chat a lot with them tonight, and they're so appreciative of the Mount Carmel area school district for allowing them to do this, and they're still very sad about the loss, but I made her smile when I told her that Ron played in the first game that I had ever seen back in 1954, the 7-7 Cole Township tie, right here at the Silverbowl. So
Wow.
she smiled at that.
And Klinger will take that handoff off the right side, and he'll keep his legs pumping out to the 38-yard line. Be close to a first down. We'll see if they give it to them.
Yeah, they're going to give it to him.
So it'll be first and 10 Panthers now at the 39-yard line.
Yeah, Jim, it looks as though the Panthers, after getting that one score here to start the half, a little bit of momentum, maybe little sign of life from the Panthers.
See if they can keep it going. Howell's going to
There's that draw.
hand it off to Klinger again, but again, it had a big success early on, and now we got flags all over the field here.
And I'm not sure what they're going to come in for. It looked like a clean tackle. We'll see what happened there.
So there's a lot going on, a lot of different places.
Yeah.
The flag was thrown around the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be
Dead ball, foul.
Yep.
It looked like the head linesman is touching his head, which would indicate a helmet to helmet, I believe.
So they're going to take a break here, it looks like. See if there's a Panther down. While that's going on, we just want to take an opportunity again on PCN tonight. Certainly excited about being the game of the week. But you can also catch us every Wednesday night at 8 on Service Electric Cablevision as well. So we appreciate all their help. They celebrated their 50th anniversary last year. So we've been together for a long time. We appreciate all their support year in and year out. And you can catch, again, it's not just the football games. It's also, we talked about this WKMC TV all student-run TV studio. They put on a show, MCA Live, every Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. on Service Electric Cablevision Channel 8. So make sure that if you're in the area, if you're in the listening area, enjoy that. And then while we're here, also encourage you, if you're in the area, make sure next week is the annual Coal Bucket game between the Red Tornadoes and the Shamokin Indians. At Shamokin this year, at Kent Memorial Stadium.
This will be the 69th edition of that game, guys.
Wow.
And if
It's a long time.
If the last few years have been any indication of what I've personally seen, Jose will have a laundry list of statistics for us and cool happenings that we can talk about next week.
It's once again going to be the Army's rivalry series game of the week again. They enjoyed it so much last year, they've decided to do it again.
That was very cool last year, and Red Tornadoes continue to be very cool on the field. Now a nice opportunity there for those of you if you were able to see it. Howe under a lot of pressure from Daukus. Daukus threw him to the ground, and they did the decent thing and helped him up. So it's always nice to see that going on this late in the game.
Yeah, and that, looked like very nice coverage, and they continue to get great pressure against Howe. He's not had really a whole lot of time unless he's moving the pocket, he hasn't been able to get a clean throw off. And even when they do move the pocket, he still is having trouble setting his feet and making a good throw.
Daukus having a Mike Hood type of game tonight with the 2 sacks and 2 or 3 hurries already and a number of tackles.
Now Howe's going to keep that one, and that's not by design. It looks like they tried to do that quick handoff to Klinger. That's Gage Klinger. And the ball, fortunately, while it came loose, it popped right back into Howell's midsection, and he just kept it and tried to move forward. He'll gain a yard or 2 from where he was standing, but ultimately it'll be a 3-yard loss for the Panthers.
Yeah, and it looked like the timing there was off, which would make sense. You said Gage Klinger was going to take that handoff. Normally, I believe that's Cade Klinger's position, where and Cade Klinger currently on the sideline, a little banged up there. So the timing a little off because of the different personnel in there.
Now Howell's going to throw it. He said, I'll deal with the timing myself. And he's got Hawk open again. And Hawk can't bring it down.
Great job by Pupo.
Pupo does a nice job there. He gets his hand in between Hawk and the ball and is able to pop it loose.
Yeah, because Hawk, again, showing those strong hands that he has, was able to get both hands on that over top of Pupo, but Pupo got his hand up and punched that ball out.
We talked about it early on. I mean, coming into tonight's game, Howell has 99 completions and 35 of them were to Hawk. So certainly a big target, literally and figuratively, as he stands about 6'1". But on fourth and 13, Howell's going to punt. And again, when the quarterback punts, especially he's got a short drop back, you're always a little skeptical. So the Red Tornadoes only send Burkowski back. But Howell is going to punt. It'll bounce, and Burkowski's just going to stay away from it. And the Red Tornadoes will take over 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line on top of the Bloomsburg Panthers, 41-7 with 6:11 left in the third quarter here at the Silverbowl.
Yeah, so now the Red Tornadoes backed up into their own territory here. Going to be looking to put together kind of a put-away drive here. This looks like this might be, if the Red Tornadoes are able to get some points on this drive, this may be the last drive that you see senior quarterback Tommy Reisinger trot out there to kind of orchestrate. Coach Dara looks like he wants to put this one away and kind of keep it that way before he pulls the starters out.
Handoff to Burkowski on the same play that he's had success on tonight, that inside handoff. Not as much there. He'll pick up 4 out to the 20. And again, Bendis is continuing to be in there for Widener at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and at this point, you know, Widener already up over 100 yards. He kind of earned, I think he earned his rest at this point. He's trying to stay on that sideline there. And Coach Dara just trying to kind of spread the love around a little bit and let everybody have some success running the ball.
Bendis again off the right side. He'll run through an arm tackle behind the line of scrimmage. A lot of white jerseys there, though. Good surge by that Panther defense, and they'll stop him for a loss of 2. About a yard. It'll be 3rd and 7 now, and Widener on his way back in there.
Yeah, so we'll see. This third down here, 3rd and long. This is not the staying on schedule that the Red Tornado offense normally likes to do in 3rd and short situations. So we'll see what we decide to do here.
And it's going to be a pitch to Widener. Widener's got space. He's across the 25. He'll have a first down. Out to the, they'll say he's out of bounds at about the 31. So a good run of 13 there on 3rd and 7, and it'll keep the chains moving.
And I like the very, very little tweak that Coach Dara made there with the positioning. Instead of having Logan Wills down in the 3-point stance at the tight end spot inside the wing, he had him lined up in a slot spot outside of the wing, which gave him, an extra body and an extra, length outside of the defense to get out there and set that edge for Widener to get outside.
And it's Widener again, and he's stood up by number 58, Chris Dodge, for the Panthers. So nice play there. Stop Widener after a yard.
And we'll see again. This Bloomsburg defense just not going away. For the Red Tornadoes, you think you have two quick, long scores to start the half. You would think that would kind of be, a kind of nail in the coffin type drives. But this Bloomsburg defense not phased and not quitting at this point.
Reisinger's going to throw, and he's got Widener open in the middle of the field, and it's incomplete. Widener made a heck of a play to have a chance on it, but it'll hit the turf and bring up 3rd and 9.
Yeah, and I think Widener kind of came out of the backfield on sort of a wheel route, so he came down the home team sideline and had to cut back across to almost the far hash, the away side hash, to even have a chance to get to that ball. So good effort there, but not able to connect.
Yeah, we're getting to a point here in this game, too, where Reisinger will keep it himself, and he'll be up across. And now Reisinger's got a one-man to beat, and he's not going to be able to do it, although it'll take him another 15 yards before he's tackled. So another big run out of Reisinger, well into Panther territory, down to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, and as Jose spoke about or at halftime, I believe it was, Reisinger continuing to just add to his yardage totals here.
And now Reisinger and Widener are going to be heading towards the sideline, so you wonder if that's the last we've seen of those young men tonight.
Well, it puts them both over 100 yards. Reisinger now with 7 for 101.
My goodness, that's a good day.
Definitely is.
3:13 and counting here. Left in the third. Stellar takes the handoff, takes the snap and hands it off to Pupo. And now Pupo's in the middle of the field. And Pupo's in from 32 yards out. And the Red Tornadoes will keep rolling here, 47-7.
And Jim, we talk about it every week, just how interchangeable these backs are. Now, every one brings a different sort of flavor to their game. But this offense is so sort of easy to find holes, and with the offensive line working and everybody working in unison, I think they could put me in the backfield there, and I might be able to find some room, Jim.
All right. I mean, listen, this line is talented, and Coach Dara's got a good scheme, and Stellar's kick is up, and it's good, so he'll be 6 for 7 on the night. And the Red Tornadoes will stretch it out to 48-7 with 3:04 left in the third quarter here at the Silverbowl.
And Jim, I just was looking at the replay of that run from Pupo, and he did a really nice job of finding that cutback. It looked like it was a little bit tighter than normal. Normally they get a chance to get a little bit more outside before that cutback. That was almost right off of the center, sort of directly in the middle of the field. And then I looked maybe 12, 15 yards down the field. Reed Witkowski, who I believe was either I didn't get to see if he was in at the fullback spot. Yeah, with Daukus out, he was in at the fullback spot. Out in front of that, 15 yards downfield, just occupying a defender and not giving up on the play.
Guys, I missed this when Bloomsburg scored before. It was the first time Bloomsburg scored against the Mount Carmel team since 2006. In the first quarter of the overtime game over at Bloomsburg.
Wow.
It's really only 13 quarters because we haven't played continuously, but it's still been a long time.
Yeah, that's impressive.
My goodness. And here we go, Dan. This is our favorite time of the game.
Yeah, who's who?
Getting the special teams guys out there after a score.
The special teams are my favorite. Stellar's kick will be taken by Hawk at the 15, and he's shown an ability to make a big play off the kickoff. So there's a big hold there that's going to bring this one back right in front of the official. So a nice return by Hawk, but it'll be all for naught as it's going to come way back.
Yeah, so we'll see. Again, as Jose pointed out, we're going to try and get everybody as they're shuffling in and out here.
So 27, Backus. Damon Backus, he's in there for the Red Tornadoes. 14, Garrett Verano. Number 3, Tom Davitt.
45, Michael Reed. 50, Aaron Elliott. Looks like 12 is in there. That is Finella. Yep.
6, Austin Garankowski. He's out there.
Yes.
We'll see, there's a guy. 16, Feliciano. He's out there as well for the Red Tornadoes. I'm sure that's not everybody, and we'll try to get everybody else just as soon as we can.
58,
Elliott,
I think Kellen Geary's in there.
Kellen Geary, Aaron Elliott. That handoff will be to Klinger. Now Klinger's in the open field. There's a big run here. He's being chased by Mannion. Mannion's not going to get him. So on the first play from scrimmage, Gage Klinger is going to go 90 yards. 84. Got a little excited there. I was looking at the wrong yard marker. But 84 yards nonetheless. Now, Jose, that always is interesting to me because, sure, you give up the touchdown that in the grand scheme of things doesn't mean much, but it certainly distorts the defensive numbers.
No question, it does. And some coaches get really annoyed, but you have to take the good with the bad, and if we want to have kids play these games, you have to let them play and not worry about that. It's more important to let them play than to have some meaningless yardage total.
Yeah, I think the experience definitely trumps the fact that you're getting giving up a score. I think you learn more from giving up a score, especially for these young guys. Anyways, it hurts a little more, but you definitely get a chance to go back, tomorrow when you go and watch film, or you're online watching Huddle throughout the week and say, oh well, I missed my assignment there, instead of going out there and being extremely successful. And you learn a lot more from the mistakes, I think.
Well, it's all about learning.
Yeah.
And film room, I would imagine there's a lot of learning going on when they get to watch something like that. I thought Cam had a shot at him early, and he just didn't take it.
Yeah.
He's going to be a good kid. Everybody likes Cam Mannion, and he's going to be a great player for us.
Yeah, we've talked over the course of the last couple of weeks. We've kind of enjoyed seeing Feliciano and Mannion when they're in the backfield together. They're both, they're similar size in terms of kind of tall, lanky kids, and you can't always guess which one of them is going to take off with the ball when you get that snap to Feliciano. So it's a nice little. Just another wrinkle there that Coach Darrell will have coming up here in the next few years.
Sure. And they play with a lot of fire too. The two of those guys, along with a lot of those skill guys that we have coming up. They all play with a lot of fire, and they don't really quit.
And look at this. Hold on. So that's a short kick.
He's got it.
You're looking right now as he crosses the 35, the 35.
And he's going to score.
He's high steps all the way into the end zone. My
75
goodness. The 75-yard touchdown return is how Shane Widener is going to become the most illustrious kickoff returner in the history of Mount Carmel area football.
We joked about that last week about guys laddering the ball back to him, and here this time we actually saw it happen.
Yeah, and let's give.
Who got the ball? Who give the guy credit?
I was just going to say, give the assist. I believe it was Brock Everett that picked it up in that second line and turned around and pitched it to Widener to get him to that record. And you see,
look how excited he is
the
on his
excitement
sideline.
and the happiness of that kid. And that is the epitome of what high school sports are, and you love to see that stuff for a great kid like Shane as well.
And now here we go again. the
extra point.
Dalkis is so excited.
He forgot
celebrating with Widener. He forgot he's got to snap the football.
Yeah, he forgot that he's the long snap.
So we've got everything back together now with just 3 seconds left on the play clock. Stellar will drill it. 55-13 Red Tornadoes. Again, courtesy of the all-time kickoff return leader at Mount Carmel area, Shane Widener.
What a way to do it, though.
Absolutely.
How do you write it up any better than that?
Oh, that's so much fun. It makes it all the more of a story for him to, it's something Shane can talk to his kids about years down the road and say, I got it off of basically a handoff on a kick return there.
Yeah.
Also be Widener's third score of the night. So having a big day all around.
So again, we see the time that it's going to take here to get this correct kickoff team out here, and see another shot very quickly for the Red Tornado defense to come back out and kind of redeem themselves after giving up that long score. Just have the kickoff for the kickoff return for Widener, and then we're back on the defense is back on the field.
Stellar does a nice job.
He's doing a great job kicking off here.
It's all the way down to the 12. It'll be Hawk again. And Hawk, he's a tough kid. He runs hard.
Yeah.
Out to the 35-yard line. So that's where the Panthers will start their drive again. 55-13 Mount Carmel with 2:19 left in the third quarter and a running clock here at the Silverbowl.
And Jim, I think it was Stellar on the tackle there as well. And that's just something you don't see a whole lot of. But it seems as though if it's not Reed Witkowski making the tackle down there, it's usually the kicker, whether it's Chapman or Stellar, getting down the field.
I thought that was Joe Bendis, though. At that last one.
Oh, it might have been. I saw 4 come off the pile there.
It's
and it
hard
looked like
sometimes.
Stellar was over there too. So
he could have been. He is on a lot of occasions.
Howell handoff to Russell King, who does a nice job. He's a shifty runner. He kept those shoulders moving. They got across the 45 for a first down for the Panthers, the 46-yard line.
yeah, and nice little run there by Russell King. Did a good job, like you said, kind of making a few guys miss. There was a good. They had that crackback block down on the corner.
And so Mr. Widener, he gets his due here as it's announced over the PA system as to what he's just accomplished. And again, if you think about Mount Carmel football, as King will continue to run hard, does a nice job breaking tackles. There's too many red jerseys that'll drop him for about a gain of a yard only. But if you think about what Red Tornado football is and has been for a long time now, Jose, how do you feel? Very few people have a pulse on what's been accomplished by these teams as well as you do. And we've seen between Widener and we had Ayers last year and Reisinger and Chapman, and you see all these kids who are continuing to climb statistical ladders at a...
The one that jumped out at me most was Widener when he got into the top 10 in all-purpose yards. The two people that he passed were Bobby Zavarik and Bobby Joe Niglio.
Oh,
Wow.
my
I mean, anybody that knows Mount Carmel pick, and all you need to do is say those two names. That leaves the people ahead of him being Diminick and Veach, and other folks like that. So it's great company.
Hand off to Hurd into Red Tornado territory. Out to the into Red Tornado territory will be the 47-yard line, but that'll be the last play of the third quarter. So at the end of 3, the Red Tornadoes are on top of the visiting Bloomsburg Panthers, 55-13, and we'll be back with the fourth quarter in 60 seconds. And we're back here at the Silverbowl. Start the fourth quarter with a handoff to number 28, Xavier Russell King. Does a great job of staying inbounds down the sideline, down to the 19-yard line, but the Red Tornadoes are on top of this one, 55-13, as it's been all Mount Carmel for, well, pretty much since the start of the second quarter.
Yeah, he did a great job staying in bounds on the sideline and did a great job staying upright. I mean, he took, bounced around there a few times and was still able to stay on his feet.
Guys, we have to give this team a lot of credit. This team is better than people thought coming into this game.
Yeah.
Whether it has to do with the coaching change or just the change in attitude or just the maturity as the year went on, who knows? We're not that close to know it.
Yeah, it's an interesting season in the area, Jose. If you know, so obviously Southern continues to do what they do in Mount Carmel. We continue to do what we're doing here. North Schuylkill across the way, and then you kind of take everybody else, and it seems like any of these teams can beat each other on any given week between Bloomsburg, Central, Shamokin, Danville, Lewisburg. All these teams, it's kind of, there's a big pack there, and some of their records look better than others, but from a talent level, a lot of these teams are pretty close.
Yeah, Jim, as you see there, I believe the last play was Howell's final play, at least of this drive, as they bring in another quarterback in there. I'm not.
It's like number 9,
yeah.
Liam Zentner, 5'9", 120-pound freshman. So we do enjoy the youth movement that goes on in these games as we get later and later.
But you feel guiltiest when you miss one of those because they don't get many opportunities. But if you miss their name and they don't get the call, or I miss a tackle or whatever, so I do try to get it on huddle and try to double check more than I do with the varsity guys, because you miss one here or there over the course of a season, it doesn't change too much. But for these guys, it does. It's real important.
Absolutely. With that in mind, for the Red Tornadoes, number 66, Matt Chicatano's out there now as well. And it looks like, is that number 21?
Yeah.
Nasir Kelly for the Panthers does a nice job of kind of staying upright as he gets across the right side of the field. Pickup of just a few. He's going to bring up 4th and about 8.
Yeah, did a really nice job kind of setting up his blockers there to get really anything out of that. The little inside step, which gave a blocker an outside kind of release to let him get to the corner and pick up the few yards that he was able to get.
Zettner in that pistol formation. He's going to look to throw it now. He's flips it over, and we'll see. Red Tornado looked like he'd have beat on interception, and he does. I think that's number 14, Verano, over there. So that's a great play by Garrett to jump up and snag that ball out of the sky. It'll be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes at their own 10-yard line.
Yeah, really nice job there by Garrett Verano. In sort of a big situation there. Now, if the ball would have just fallen incomplete, it would have still been a turnover on downs, and Red Tornadoes would have gotten the ball back. But just the fact that, the turnover there helps the defensive statistics a little bit.
So the Red Tornado offense looks a lot different. It's going to be Feliciano. He keeps it himself. And my goodness, he lowered the boom there. Almost looking for contact. Dropped his shoulder. He'll get out across the 15. Well, he'll get to the 15, excuse me. Bring up 2nd and 5.
And Jim, that's what I'm talking about with Feliciano and Mannion. Those guys go out there just kind of really trying to hit somebody just with a lot of fire. And I love seeing that. And all these young backs are just excited to get the opportunity and try to make the most of it when they do.
That one's going to be Backus, and he'll be stuffed up at the line for no gain there.
Jose, something I was just thinking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think our last return touchdown was last year against Bloomsburg, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was Pupo,
Dylan
correct?
Pupo for around 67 yards, I believe, on a punt.
Yeah, but that was the last one.
This is the first kickoff since Blake Panko, I think in 2014.
14?
Is that about when he played?
13, 14?
Probably
14 or 15.
No, it wasn't 15 because that was John.
Okay, so yeah, probably 13 or 14 then.
Feliciano will take the snap, and he'll get across the 16 to the 17. So we'll see on 4th and 2. We'll see what Coach Darrow wants to do.
Is he going to punt the ball and break that streak?
How many?
It should involve Feliciano back.
Here's the question, Jose, and I'm going to ask you this and I'm going to try to hedge and cover myself. How many possessions have to go by to wear off a jinx?
Oh, you mean that we're not responsible?
Well,
I think it's too late for that now.
Me specifically.
No.
Feliciano's punt is going to go off the side of his foot. It'll be downed by the Panthers at the 29-yard line of the Red Tornadoes. So very short punt there.
Yeah, they're going to set the Panthers up in decent field position to start their next drive. Looking to put a 3rd score in here.
Doesn't look like there are any new Red Tornadoes out there, so I think we've covered them all up to this point. But again, one thing we always talk about, and we're going to get a timeout here for the Panthers, is they're going to have some changes themselves. One thing we talk about here often, again, as we thank Service Electric and PCN tonight, of course, is this is the PCN game of the week. Remember, PCN's bringing you key matchups from across Pennsylvania all season with the high school football game of the week. And every Friday you can watch the whole game live on cable, and you can stream it with PCN Select and go to PCNTV.com for the schedule. So between PCN tonight, we get Service Electric on Wednesdays. We always have your Wednesday nights covered, and we have your Friday nights covered. But there's a day in between. There's Thursday.
Yep.
And Thursday night during the football season, you got to get yourself to Matucci's Willow Street Cafe in Mount Carmel for supper club. So 6:15 p.m. in the back room. There you have an opportunity to interact with members of the football team, cheerleaders, the band, the community, some really terrific people, the coaching staff, all kinds of stuff going on. You can get good food at Matucci's, great conversation with the team. So again, make sure you get yourself to Matucci's Willow Street Cafe on Wednesday night or Thursday nights, 6:15 p.m. during the football season. And Jose, I just learned how long Supper Club's been going on.
Yeah, since 1983 when it was the Breakfast Club, but it's still the same thing. And we're really appreciative to a press enterprise writer, Justin Biter, who wrote a very nice story on the Supper Club this week. And I think he got the vibe as to what we try to do there and what it means to to come and appreciate our recognizing the band and the cheerleaders and the players, and it was a real nice article. We're very appreciative to him.
Yeah, and I also don't think that he could have been at Supper Club on a better week, Jose. I remember you kind of announcing the attendance there in the 90s.
95.
95.
Our previous best was 92.
And
it was a great night.
Yeah, it definitely was a great night. I was happy I was able to make it to that one.
And the next few weeks, if anybody wants to come down, we'll have room. We're bringing the captains this week for the Schmoken game, cheerleading captains, football playing captains, and we're going to bring the cheerleading coaches this week as well. So we'll maybe have another insight into what goes on with the cheerleaders.
Yeah, the Panthers are going to pitch it to number 44. That's Toby Zajac, and he's dropped deep in the backfield by number 50, Aaron Elliott. A big loss all the way back to the 36-yard line, so it'll cost them 7 yards. It was Zajac on the initial carry as well, the drive. But again, 5:50 left, 3rd and 17 for the Panthers. They trail the Red Tornadoes 55-13 here at the Silverbowl in Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Aaron Elliott does a really good job there, Jim, of fighting over top of a few blockers and just getting a hold of the arm of Zajac and letting somebody come and clean it up.
We'll go back to the well again, and it's still dry. Zajac will get to the 35, pick up a yard. It's going to be 4th and 16 now for the Panthers. And again, don't forget redtornadofootball.com. You can get out there, keep tabs on the football. There's menus for local eateries in the Mount Carmel area. You can get some updates. There's pictures. There's still photography. All kinds of great stuff. redtornadofootball.com, and you can also make your donations to this great program.
So, Jim, we may get a chance to see Zentner throw the ball here.
Let's see what Coach Fry dials up. He's going to let him throw it. Now he's got to move up in the pocket because he's immediately under pressure, and he'll stay on his feet. He does a nice job picking up about 7, but that's only going to get him back to the original line of scrimmage, which will turn it over to the Red Tornadoes yet again. So again, 4:40 left in this one now, and Mount Carmel will take over 1st and 10 from their own 29.
Yeah, Chicatano did a really nice job kind of cleaning that up there, as it looked like Zentner starting to get loose. It could have, if he got by Chicatano there, it looked like he may have been able to pick up the 1st down and more. So good job being aware there and making that tackle by Matt Chicatano. And we'll see this offense of the Red Tornadoes back out on the field.
It's like 18 Zarski's in there as well. The first time we've called his name tonight, but that's going to be a handoff to Vrana on that inside trap, and he's got nowhere to go, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and this, we talked about it a little bit earlier. This Bloomsburg Panther defense is not going away. No matter who's in there, they are tough up the middle, and they're working hard to really keep the Red Tornadoes from having any more success on the ground.
Another thing, Dan, we've kind of been tracking this a little bit throughout the season. But as I look down at the sideline, in the Red Tornado sideline, we'll see we got a pitch to Zarski, and he's going to get he's not going to get the corner. He does a nice job there by 23, Nasir Hurd, to drop him after a short gain. But again, Dan, as we get, the game time temperature tonight is 46.
Okay.
Last week we were up around 60. So we've kind of got a lot, it got cold pretty quick around here in our little neck of the woods. And you can see, again, you look at that Red Tornado sideline, there's these big coats. I even put my coat on up here, which isn't something we typically do.
No, it's not.
And Feliciano's going to keep this one himself, and he's just going to put his head down and power forward. Forward progress will get him to the 35, but it's still going to be about 4 yards short, and will bring up another 4th down for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, we might see another Feliciano punt here. I'm sure if we do, he's going to be hoping to get a good one out here, but maybe not.
Yep. Zarski and Feliciano are going to come out. Mannion and Backus are going to go in. Nope, Zarski's going to go back in now. But we'll see what Coach Dara opts to do here. He doesn't look like he's going to punt it.
Wildcat with Mannion.
Mannion takes a snap, and he goes to the right. Now he's picking his way, and Mannion's going to pick up the 1st down, so big run. out across the 45, down to the 48-yard line, excuse me. Oh, no, it was the 47. Look at that, Dan. Trust your gut.
Yeah, and you know, we see that Wildcat from Mannion, and we saw a few weeks ago, I was able to get to the JV game, and Feliciano got a little dinged up, and Mannion went in there and played quarterback pretty much for the remainder of the game. And he can play a decent quarterback spot as well. I mean, he's just as good a quarterback, I think, as a running back.
Hand off to Backus. Pick up a yard. 2nd and 9. Again, 2 minutes left in this one. The Red Tornadoes up 55-13, in a good position to move to 7-2 on the season. And then it's going to start to get interesting in terms of district playoff seeding.
Yeah.
Largely due to the great unknown, which is always those northern tier teams that we're never quite sure what's going on. I always have at this point, I believe the Red Tornadoes are dealing with Troy from a seeding standpoint.
No, we'll open up with either Line Mountain or Bloomsburg again, depending on what happens. And then we don't know whether we're going to be 2nd or 3rd, but we'll play Troy in either case should we win that first game.
And it's just dependent on
Where?
2nd or 3rd if we're going to be home or if we're going to be making the trek.
Yep, exactly.
It'll be a handoff to Zarski on that inside play again. He'll be up around the 46. And yeah, that's more so what I was alluding to, I guess. Not the first round opponent, but really that shuffling around the 2 seed and trying to understand, like you said, whether or not the Red Tornadoes are going to have to hop on a bus.
A game that could be interesting is if Troy does get the 2nd seed and they have to play Bloomsburg in the opening game. Who knows? It could be an interesting game, and they could return a favor to us somehow.
Yeah, that would definitely be nice of them if that is what it turns out to be.
So snap to the up back. It'll fall to the turf, so the Red Tornadoes will fall on it, but it'll be a turnover on downs. 1st and 10 for the Panthers with 35 seconds left, so we're most likely looking at the last snap of the night here.
Yeah, so we'll see the Panthers come out here and see what they decide they want to do. I'm sure, you know, you got these guys that are a little bit down on the depth charts in here, so let's see them get out there and, you know, make an effort here. Maybe I don't know if we'll see any hurry up after the first play, but, you know, try to put a good stamp on the end of a tough game for the Panthers here. And same thing for the Red Tornado defense. They're going to be trying to end the game on a good note here.
Yeah, from a development standpoint, every one of these snaps count. And Zettner's going to try to throw, and he's going to be dragged down by Matt Chicatano in the backfield.
Yeah, and that's going to be the stamp on the game, I think, that the Red Tornadoes were looking for, and definitely Matt Chicatano as well.
So we'll see how the Panthers want to let this one run out, or if they want to get one more snap. They are huddling, and the team is largely on the sideline, although they'd have to get a move on pretty quickly to get a snap off. Looks like they're going to be content to let time run out on this one. So that'll do it here from the Silverbowl in Mount Carmel, where the Red Tornadoes are going to come out of this victorious 55-13 over the visiting Bloomsburg Panthers. So that's going to do it here. Again, we'll be back in 90 seconds with stats and reactions. Welcome back to the Silverbowl, where the Red Tornadoes just defeated the visiting Bloomsburg Panthers 55-13. Again, this is usually where we like to drop some stats on you that, as I said at halftime, we pilfer from Jose. But tonight he's here with us, so he's able to give them to us straight from the horse's mouth.
Well, thanks, guys. Real quickly for Bloomsburg, 31 rushes for 205 yards, 5 of 19 passing for 59 yards, total offense of 264 yards, 12 first downs. And you talked about it a little bit, where numbers can skew things and skew the way the game really looked. But whatever, it was a nice effort by Bloomsburg tonight. We have to give them total credit for doing that. And the new coach is obviously making some progress with them, and then good luck to him the rest of the way. For Mount Carmel, 45 rushes for 388 yards and 7 of 10 passing for 111, 19 first down. Total offense, 499 yards, and I know John's going to want me to look for that extra yard to get to 500. But nevertheless, it was a nice football game for Mount Carmel. The interesting thing to me was Shane Widener getting in a top 10 rushing yards, advancing his position with all-purpose yards amongst some great people, and establishing the kickoff return record. He's probably up close now to 1,100 yards in his career, and that's really, I mean, you think about the Diminiks and the Veaches and the Zavariks and the Niglios and the Mazatestas and all the people that have played before him, and for him to be the number one guy quietly, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was never like he never jumped out at you, but he just steadily performed. I remember when he started his first game here, the first game in 2016, and nobody even knew who he was. And I think everybody knows who Shane Widener is right now.
Yeah, they absolutely do, Jose. And you're right. He kind of did it quietly. You know, he's just a grinder. And that's why I've always liked watching him run the ball. You know, he's not gonna. He didn't break too many huge runs. He really just consistently picked up yardage and did it all while playing with class and working hard to kind of earn his spot in that position, I believe.
Yeah, one thing, Jose, Dan and I have kind of started to do as a way to just put a nice little bow on the game is we've started to try and make a point of recognizing specifically exactly who on both sides of the coin tonight had the biggest impact on the game. And I think we were joking a couple weeks ago where I think we gave our shout out to Reisinger, and it was well deserved, but we woke up the next morning and saw the stats and thought, oh, that was kind of Widener. We probably should have recognized him as well, but I don't think there's any question about it tonight that Shane's the guy.
Well, I agree. I think Tommy Reisinger certainly makes a case.
Yeah.
Sure.
111 yards passing, 101 yards rushing, 212 yards. But Shane had 134 rushing, but the big one was breaking that all-time kickoff return mark, so it's all-purpose yards. Get him up over 200 yards as well. So I agree with you guys. It's a great choice and something very well deserved by Shane Widener.
Yeah, and he was able to finish with 3 scores as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And so next week, again, as we kind of prepare to get out of here, Bloomsburg, they'll have Central at home for their finale, and the Red Tornadoes, of course, will make the trip down to Shamokin to Kent Memorial Stadium to play in what Jose billed as the 69th annual Shamokin Mount Carmel Coal Bucket game. So we're going to be there. We hope you are too. Again, I'm Jimmy Lesko.
I'm Dan Lesko.
And Jose Gonzalo, thank you guys for allowing me to be with you tonight.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Jose, and we will see you next week.